baby girl.
Hello everyone, welcome to the CEO Club. Today we have a very special guest. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. How are you doing, guys?
Doing great. My name's Hassan. My name's Hussein. Very pleased to be with you today. Can't wait to get stuck in. Lots to catch up on.
Thank you very much for being on the CEO Club. Love the place first and foremost. Beautiful house, mashallah. You guys have been on a fair few podcasts, so I'm going to try and not repeat myself. People have probably watched a few of your podcasts, so I want to try and keep this different, be unique, because that's what we are like at the CEO Club. So to start it off, I just want you to do a quick introduction to the camera for people that might not know who you are.
We're both dentists, so we're in the dental industry. We've essentially got different businesses in dentistry, so we have dental clinics where we do cosmetic treatments like porcelain veneers, teeth straightening, whitening, and the full range really of dental treatments. But then we also have a company called smilewhite.co.uk, which is a dental product service that provides aligners and whitening for patients across the UK. It's a nationwide company through a local Smile White dentist. So we've got dental businesses that we run and operate. We've also got a few other things that I'm sure we'll talk about in this podcast that we're working on. And we're entrepreneurs. We work together every single day. We have fun every single day doing what we do. We've got a great team. And we're just on our journey through life. And hopefully we can share some things that we've been through already, some lessons that we've learned, some stories, some tips, anything that we can share to the viewers to give them excitement and give them value and help them on their journeys as well.
I think our viewers are looking forward to that. There's a lot to learn from you guys. I've been following you for a while. I've seen your journey. It's very inspirational. So at the CEO Club, what we like to do is take it right back to the beginning, structure the podcast right from the beginning. So where I want to take it back to is your childhood. What was life like growing up for you? Did you grow up in Leeds?
Yeah, so we were born in Leeds, so we grew up in Leeds, but we spent 2 years in Libya. So that's where we're from originally. Our parents were born in Libya and they came over here on scholarships from the government. So how it works is in Libya, when you get the top of your class, the government choose like 3 students out of each class and they literally send them to any country that they want. So like Canada, US, UK, France, Italy. They chose the UK, so they came here on a scholarship. But obviously if students on a scholarship, they don't get loads of money. They had like £800 to spend in a month, but sometimes they would not send you that month's allowance on time. So my parents would save that money, not knowing when the next batch was coming. So we grew up in a block of flats called Savile Green in a deprived area of Leeds. Our parents worked at a hospital, St James's Hospital, when we were growing up, just doing basic work there whilst they were studying. And we spent the first few years of our life in Leeds. Then we went to Libya to live with our grandparents whilst our mum was doing a PhD, because it was such a hard degree. They couldn't spend all the time looking after us. So they literally shipped us back off to Libya to spend our time with our grandma and grandfather. So we spent a few years in Libya, then we came back, went to school here, went to a normal school for high school, sixth form, and then went to go study abroad in Spain at a great university where we spent 5 years there learning how to become dentists. And then we came back, worked as dentists for a short period, came out of that machine of being in the business, and now we're machine operators. So we no longer work hands-on with patients. What we do now is we manage different teams, and we've scaled up our operation where we're now expanding nationwide and really pushing into the dental market space in the UK.
I love that. You've summarized your story really well. I'm just going to slow you down a little bit and talk a little bit about your experience. Firstly, in Libya, what was growing up in Libya like?
Libya was fantastic. It was such a nice place to live. Obviously, things have changed now since Gaddafi's out of power. And Libya was just a place where you'd go out at any time at night. It was safe. There was always that kind of family vibe where you'd go to your auntie's house and just get stuck in and have food there. The door was always open. There was nice community spirit there. Whereas in the last few years, obviously it's changed. It's a bit more, you have to be a bit more wary as to where you go. But Libya's a fantastic country. We definitely want to go back in the future and contribute towards the growth of our country. But right now we're based in the UK and we're pretty much focused on living here. Yeah, and our grandfather had a farm as well. So my mum's family, they come from farming. And I think that's where we learned about hard work and discipline, because you have to be hardworking and disciplined in a farm, or else you won't harvest any crops and you won't be able to make a living. So we were there seeing our grandfather working on the farm with the people that used to work for him in a really disciplined, organised way. And I think it was these things that we experienced as kids that instilled the values of hard work and discipline for us. We then came back to the UK after spending a few years in Libya, and it was in Savile Green, which Hussein mentioned. It's one of the roughest areas in Leeds, and when we say that, it doesn't mean that we feel like we were short of anything as kids. We never were short of anything. Our parents gave us the whole world, and we never felt like we were living in a tight circumstance or situation, but we did learn value for money. We remember, for example, going to Tesco's or Morrison's on a Tuesday night, just before the store closed, for our parents to look at some of the reduced items, reduced bread, reduced food that was discounted. Not because they had to do that, it was because they were essentially students. They weren't working at the time, they were relying on money from the government, and so every single pound counted. And that's where we've got value for money, and some people think that we've lost that when they see us on private jets, luxury cars, expensive holidays, but we haven't lost that value for money, and we feel it every single day. But what we also understand is that it's not a bad thing to want to experience the nice things in life, to want to have luxurious yachts, the finer things. There's no harm in that, because you should always try and make the most out of life and squeeze as much juice out of life as possible. And that was our early childhood. It was a beautiful childhood. We learned so much early on without us knowing, I think, and we've carried through our lives a lot of the principles that we picked up when we were youngsters. And obviously, as our parents came to this country, they were very much academics. Yeah. They were doing their PhDs, their masters, they were studying a lot of the time. And one thing that frustrates us is when what people do is, when they're not successful in life, they start to think of excuses and reasons as to why they're not successful and why other people are. So they start saying stuff like, your dad was a doctor, your parents were doctors, you came with money. The fact is, if you're an academic, you dedicate your time towards studies. You don't really dedicate your time towards making money. And anyone that works in a hospital, you don't earn fortunes. You earn a few £1,000s a month. That's why there's protests every few months for hospital doctors in the NHS, because they're underpaid. It's a massive known fact. So the fact is, our parents came here with huge ambitions to give us a better life, to give us a secure future where we could come to an English school, learn English, have a fantastic future ahead of us. But they never really planned on becoming multimillionaires or having nice cars, living in a nice house and being able to fly private. They just wanted a nice future for their kids. But when you can come in, and this is a message that I want to give to the youth, be the person that carries their parents for their future. When parents invest in you as a child and they sacrifice for you, don't just be selfish and just live your own life. There comes a stage where you have to carry your parents through their life, and there's no harm in you thinking big, thinking about how you can bring a new level of mindset to your family, a new level of wealth. There's no harm in you wanting to give more to your parents, a nice house, a nice car, being able to send them away on holiday. So if you think about them and their future, and you have that ability to now say, our parents have given us everything, now I want to give them everything, that's when you really live a fantastic life. And I'd say as well, the responsibility of parents, good parents, is to create stability for their kids, to create stability for their family. So shelter, food, clothes, a decent or good education. If a parent can provide those things for their family, they create a stable environment. But a message from us to the youth is that you should be looking at ways to take your family from stability to success, which is the next level, where you can choose to do things, where you have more time freedom, where you don't have to worry about the cost of things. And if you want to go that level higher, which is what we're on a journey of doing right now, try and take your family from success to significance, where you are a significant family, changing an industry or working towards an amazing cause, which might not be in business. And that's the journey that you should be thinking about in life, and you should see it as 3 different levels. Now, you don't have to go from success to significance, but if you do feel like you want to push that extra level, go for it, because you should always try and elevate and push things to that extra level.
And looking back on your childhood then, would you say you had that stability? Did your parents provide you with that stability, or Do you feel like you missed out on anything growing
Definitely
up?
not. I think our parents gave us everything. They gave us a fantastic life. We always had loads of love. We were never short of anything. Our parents have been the best parents ever, and inshallah one day we can be the best parents to our kids and give our kids a fraction of what our parents have showed us. And I think that's why our parents are living the life they're living now with no worries, no stress. They can do what they want. They don't have to work anymore. You know, they're in Spain right now. They've been there for 2 weeks because they've invested in their children the right way and they've raised their kids the right way. And so many parents out there, they neglect their kids. They think their kids are just going to be raised miraculously, but you have to invest in your kids the same way you invest in your own business or your job or your health. It's the same way. And if you invest in the right way, then that investment will pay off. And now, you know, we look after them. We take care of the business. There's nothing that they really get involved with in terms of like financials or investments or business growth. We just take care of it all now. Yeah. And the focus for us and our parents is to make sure that they can just enjoy their life now and go travel, be able to enjoy their own company and just live a happy life. And our parents invested in us. I remember when we were younger, around 12 to 15 years old, every single year we used to go to Spanish camps called Enfo Camp, which at the time it was massively expensive for our parents. They used to send us away to Spain for 4 weeks over summer where we'd essentially go to boarding school and learn Spanish. And little did they know that would be a massive help to us in the future to go to one of the top universities in Europe, which is in Spain for dental school. And it was that investment in us that's now paying back dividends to them. Not only that, we could be able to go to the gym, get into a good fitness routine, have access to really healthy, nutritious foods, high protein diets that allowed us to develop good physiques as well. So our parents just gave us the world. Even like private uni in Spain, it's expensive. And it was a big decision for our parents to commit to the costs for uni. In Spain, it was £20,000-30,000 each per year. And it's a massive spend. And I could see the pressure on my dad's face when he was deciding. He didn't want to let us down, but at the same time, he didn't want to be financially strained, but he went for it. And that investment he made in us has now paid back dividends. You know, it's multi-millions that have come back. So I think as a child, always be mindful of what your parents are thinking. And if they do take that step and invest in you, let them know how much their investment has paid back. Yeah. So we then went through high school. We went to Roundhay High School, which was a state school, amazing school. Had some really good friends there. We weren't really the popular kids in school, to be honest. I mean, we were just, you know, there was the cool group that were very popular, you know, were always talked about. We were just sort of a little bit low-key. We had our friends, but it was a normal time at school for us. I remember during exam season, our parents used to take our phones away from us so we would focus. So Twitter was big at the time. Everyone was tweeting. And then we would go off Twitter for like 2 months before exam season. And then after the exams had finished, we'd start tweeting again. And the students would make fun of us, saying, oh yeah, your phones are back now, you're back on Twitter. And it's those same students, well, one of them I saw at Starbucks on Kirkstall last week, working in Starbucks. All respect to him, no biggie, but it's crazy how the cool kids don't really sometimes end up as successful as you are. And a lot of kids that are at school now, they feel that pressure to be cool and wear the latest trends and have the latest kicks and be cool and listen to the coolest music. But the fact is, you don't have to conform to what society wants of you. Be focused, be disciplined, stick to what you believe in, be the student that goes to school every single day with a positive attitude. And in 10 years' time, when you're rolling in a Rolls Royce or a Bentley and you've got your own business and you're able to just go on holiday, let's see who has the last laugh. Just on that as well, I remember when we was in sixth form, year 12, we used to be very disciplined with our diet. So we used to follow Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman, the biggest bodybuilders, and the basics of bodybuilding is meal prep and eating consistently. So we used to, the night before school, I remember it, we used to have a tub of something called Quark, Quark, which is a type of soft cheese, very high protein. And we also have like a tuna salad as well, just very basic foods, but 2 meals there that are going to really push our bodies forward and give us the protein that we needed. But then when we used to go to the canteen, the kitchen that's part of the common room in sixth form, people used to think these guys are over the top. Why they're bringing their own meals to school, why they're not just going to the shops like everybody else. And it's because we were disciplined, and because we were disciplined and we were able to give our bodies the meals that we needed, we built amazing physiques early on in our lives, and we built foundations in our physiques that has meant that even though we've been through the pressures of business, where sometimes you drop off training, we've always been in great shape. And it was those foundations that we built early on by doing the things that we knew that we needed to do rather than what society and the pressure of people around us said we should do.
And have you always been so switched on and on the straight path? Were you never tempted towards, you mentioned a little bit earlier, you lived and grew up in a council estate. I can imagine there might have been crime in that council estate and people going down the path of education and going down the other route, which is crime and drugs and all the rest of it. Were you always switched on at an early age and you had that discipline, or?
Yeah, I think we've always been protected by our parents.
Okay.
Even though we lived in a rough area, we never saw like crime or anything. We would just
never.
basically go to like nursery or whatever it was, and then go back home and then just have that kind of a routine. And we didn't stick around there too long. As soon as my parents were in a position to move out, we moved out to a different area. So we were never really exposed to like crime or anything. Yes, obviously as you grow up, there's temptations to go down the wrong path, but in life, based on your decisions, you go down a different path. And we always took the right decision, really, and stayed on the right path, in essence. Yeah. And it's like what Hussein said, our parents protected us from whatever was happening outside of the house in those areas. And then we quickly moved to Bermontoffs, which still wasn't a great area, but it was way better than Seville Green. And then we moved from there to Oakwood. So as soon as my parents could move out of these bad areas, they did so.
And I can see from the way you're speaking that you speak very highly of your parents in terms of their personalities. Your mum and dad, do they have different kind of personalities? I don't think anyone's touched upon them. And I'm always intrigued to know what your dad was like and what your mum was like.
Great question. So very different personalities. Our dad is a lot more relaxed. He is a lot more kind of safety net. He's changed a lot now, thanks to us. He's a lot more entrepreneurial, but he's always been the stability person in the family. Whereas my mum comes from an entrepreneurial background, she's always been the one that's like, let's do this, let's do that, let's push. You know, we want this, we want that to happen, let's get this clinic. So that contrast, and she's always been the person that's pushed my dad to go after different ventures. And she's the one that really, like, even though my dad massively supports us, she fully supports us like even more, because she sees what we're doing as going outside the box, you know, taking risks, and she loves it. And my dad loves it as well. But because she's from a business background, she can see a bit of her, I would say, in us. And, you know, our personalities are quite similar. We're quite outgoing. Like, we'll go to like a restaurant and just speak to anybody. You know, we can get on with anybody really. Whereas my dad's a bit more introverted. So different personalities, but very similar as well. But I think that you need that as well. With our father, his credibility is off the charts. You know, he's the top in his field of oral and maxillofacial surgery. And that was a massive help when we started the clinic as well, his credibility. But then you also need somebody on the other side who has that explosive attitude and that outgoing, risk-taking attitude and mindset, which was our mother. And that when you combine those two things, it forms something special and it really drives the family forward. So they are different people, but they work very well in synergy together. And that's what I think you need in a family.
So you guys talked about your journey. What happened after then? Sixth form, university?
So basically, we both took gap years before going to university, and we wanted to do some travelling, but we didn't essentially have the money for both of us to be able to go travelling. So we worked for 6 months and we had different jobs. So this was the first time really that I'd worked a proper job in a company. And the first 3 months I spent working at Next Clearance in Leeds City Centre. So I started working off at Next Clearance. I was making £5.33 an hour, £5.33. I actually saw my payslip randomly a few weeks ago, which was a reminder. So we started working off at Next Clearance, and I was in the suits department in the menswear. So I'd rock up every single day wearing a suit. I would be the freshest person there, and I would literally work from 9 to 5 non-stop, short half an hour break. And I would think then, why am I working so hard? And people would say it to me, why does this guy work so hard? He goes over the top. He's a little bit too eager. But it's because I've always wanted to be the best. When clients would come in and they'd want to look for different suit sizes, I would literally, if their size wasn't there, I would offer them different styles. How else can I help you, sir? What do you think about this style here? You've chosen this one, but what do you think about this style? It looks great, any that. And even though I wasn't earning any commission on sales, I would just want to do the best I could do. I'd be moving furniture as well. I would literally do whatever they told me to do, working from 9 to 5. And even though I didn't have to, I could show up with like a random shirt if I wanted to. I would wear a suit myself every single day. And I was doing it this time. So that taught me work ethic. It taught me how to work in a company. But it also taught me what, in a lot of cases, other people can be like in a company, which was basically nobody gave a damn. Everyone did what they wanted to do. I was the only hardworking person there, really. After working at Next Clearance for a few months, I then went to Michael Kors. So I applied for a job at Michael Kors and I got a job there in the sales department. So I had a great interview, got the job. I started off, did a little bit of product training on the different bags and purses, and I was making more money there than the regional manager, because what I used to do is, it's a little bit tricky, but I'd be speaking to the clients and speaking to
I didn't know I was going to confess.
I'll confess, it's fine now.
Is this a CEO Club exclusive here?
CEO Club.
This actually is.
And I think, it's all about, you've got to try get an advantage in life wherever you can.
Okay.
I'd be speaking to clients, and there was a rule at Michael Kors, you could get 50% off handbags, anything to do with leather goods, no matter how much it was, as long as you said who the discount was for. But you could make up aunties, you could make up sisters, girlfriends. It wasn't limited, basically. So I'd be speaking to a client, great stuff, you like this bag? Yeah, I think it looks fantastic on you. How much is it? £260, perfect. I think you're a great person, and genuinely I want you to come back to Michael Kors in the future and come and see me for future purchases. So how about I get you £40 off this bag? Would that make you happy? Would that increase the chance of you coming back in the future to see me again for more sales? And they'd be like, yeah, great. So what I used to do was, I used to meet them on my break or after work. I'd take money from them and I'd basically put that purchase through on my discount, and I'd make like £120 in the bag, for example.
No way.
So they were getting £40 off discount through my personal staff discount. Hopefully Michael Kors don't sue me after seeing this.
Even if you do, try do something.
I did it with, and I even elevated it to doing it with like some of the classic select collection of like skin. It was like snake skin bags and stuff, which were like thousands of pounds.
Wow.
So I was making crazy money just from giving people like £100 off. But I was making £400-500.
Do you remember when so you got that prank call of like a friend's uncle claiming to be a customer, and it was like, oh, you sold me this bag, I want a refund now. But it was our friend pranking him.
Yeah.
But I remember he got this call and he just looked so
I did take a
nervous.
loss though. I took a loss because basically there was this one girl who I sold a bag to. She was like, oh, I've changed my mind, there's no receipt with this, blah, blah, blah. And I had to refund her. So I took a few hits there and there. But in general, I made a lot of money.
Shout out to the game.
However, that money went so fast. I'm not going to lie to you, because when I actually went on the travels to California, I think I blew it in a few weeks. I was going to different designer outlets. I was still young here, I'm a gap year. And I took that money to California, which is where I did the traveling. So before I explain what happened, we wanted to travel, but our parents said, we can't pay for accommodation for you to go traveling for 6 months. Look for a volunteer scheme where you get accommodation for free. So I Googled volunteer work in California, and the only thing that came up was environmentalist work, because there's not really many volunteer crisis things in California. So anyway, I joined a group of volunteers who were looking after and fighting the environmental problems in California. Yeah. So it was in Santa Cruz. So I was staying in a hostel. I told my friend to come as well, a guy called Chris Shing. Chris, if you're watching this, California was sick.
He was the top guy, Chris.
So I said, Chris, come through. So Chris came through as well. We booked our flights. I remember it was to San Francisco airport. They picked us up, took us to Santa Cruz, which is a beach town. I had my money from Michael Kors, so I had a few £1,000s at this point. I was ready to have a great time in California, exchanged some dollars. And so I got to California. I made best friends with the coordinator of the projects. So the coordinator of the project says, for example, this group of volunteers needs to go to this location to remove crops, for example, or clean this dirt path. It was manual labor, basically. So I said to the guy, look, I'm not really desperate to work, because people would love to work there because you'd get free food if you worked. But I had thousands anyway, so I didn't need to work.
Yeah. Michael Kors
I wanted to enjoy California. I wanted to enjoy California. So I said, look, the guy was called Patrick. Patrick, you're a great guy. I'm here in California. I don't want to be going to different locations doing manual labor.
Yeah.
I love the environment, but I want to be chilling in California. Yeah. So basically, we became friends. He was like, cool, don't worry, I've got you. So he put me on like literally one project every 3 weeks, and I was there for 3 months. So I did 3 jobs in total. The rest of the time, I was going to 24-hour fitness in the morning, 24-hour fitness in the nighttime. I made great friends with a guy called Bell, who was a professional bodybuilder. He taught me everything that I know about bodybuilding. I used to train with him every single day. In the daytime, I'd eat Mexican food as well. I got haircuts every 4 days. Yeah, I would go to different designer outlets, but bought like loads of different clothes, Polo Ralph Lauren, Nike. I'd go to different places in California where I had friends from the Spanish camps that we used to go to when we were younger. Those people in California there. So I would, had the best time ever. When I did go on the work projects, I went to a place called Catalina Island, which has the highest number of endangered animal and fish in the whole world. It's basically a holiday resort.
No.
So it was like, it'd be thousands to go there normally, but I went there as part of the project. So we went there, had an amazing time, and essentially you would just see crazy animals.
Say the lobster story.
Yeah, so one time when I was in this Catalina Island, which, as I mentioned, it's got the highest number of endangered animals and fish and sea animals, sea nature in the whole world. I was up at 2 a.m. one time. We were just like chilling by the campfire and stuff. And one of the project leaders, he basically said, who wants to come snorkeling with me? So I volunteered, I'll go snorkeling. So we got the wetsuits on, we went snorkeling at 2 a.m. and he had flashlights. So basically all the fish come out at nighttime. So we jumped in, started snorkeling, we had the flashlights, and I'd never seen anything like it. There was literally different types of fish, the craziest colours, green, multicolored.
Wow.
You just saw the craziest fish in the sea. So then, all of a sudden, I saw the guy dive down suddenly, picked something up from the bottom of the sea, it was quite shallow, brought it up, and it was a green lobster.
Green lobster?
It was a lobster about this big, and it was green. So I said, whoa, it's a green lobster. He said, yeah. I can't remember the species of this lobster, but he said this is a specific species of lobster. This is endangered, and it actually sells on the black market for $2,000 a kg.
No
And
way.
there was a few kgs there at least. It was a big lobster.
Wow.
So I was like, whoa. And obviously I was thinking straight away, we're going to be eating this beautiful thousands of pounds lobster, fine dining in California. This trip's getting even better. Yeah. So I said, oh, that's great. I mean, how are we going to cook it? And then he said, no, cook it. We can't cook this. This is highly endangered. There's only a few of these in the whole world. We cannot cook this. I said, look, it was me and him in the ocean, right? I said, look, I'm not going to tell anybody if you don't. Obviously, in hindsight, I would not have eaten it. I was young back then.
Yeah.
Right now, if you ask me,
Yeah.
I would definitely not eat it now because obviously, I wouldn't do that because obviously the environment, animal rights and animal species,
Okay.
and, have to look after and maintain endangered animals. But it was just a great time.
My main question is, did the green lobster taste nice or?
We didn't eat it in the end. Just joking. No, we definitely didn't eat it.
No.
I promise.
So meanwhile, I was on the other continents. I was in South America, in the poorest country in South America, a country called Bolivia. Really nice country, absolutely beautiful. I had the best time ever there. So I was there for 3 months, and I was also doing volunteer work. And my volunteer work was, I was working at 3 places. I was working at like an after-school club for kids. So the parents would work 2 jobs. So they'd drop their kids off at this after-school club, and I'd be working there, doing activities and stuff. And then second, I was working at a zoo, looking after like animals, helping the zoo workers just take care of the zoo, right? And then thirdly, I was working at like a nursery for kids. So I was working between these 3 different places throughout the week, really fun. But I was staying at this city called Huapapina, which is an hour's bus journey from the capital city, which is called La Paz. It's the highest city in South America, really high altitude, but it was beautiful. So I would work during the day, and then after work, I would go to La Paz, the capital, to go to the gym, because obviously I love training. So I remember there was a mall on one of the main streets, and in that mall, there was like a baller gym, but because that country was so poor, a baller gym was like £8 a month. So I was like balling out here on like £8 a month, like going to like the nicest restaurants and stuff. But at this gym, I met loads of like influential people. Like I met this guy called Diego Zamora. He was a top striker for the Manchester City equivalent of their country. I think the team was like Bolivia or something. But anyway, I got to know this guy and we became really good friends. So I was literally rolling around with this guy like celebrity around this country, going for like the nicest food. We would go to like events. I remember he gave me a tracksuit of the team, and then after one game he went back to the training campus to go and get his kit or something. And then I came out of the van and they thought I was a player as well, so the fans were like coming to me asking for an autograph. And I was like, yeah, I'm a player as well. I went along with it. So I was signing these t-shirts. Little did I know I was this guy from Leeds on the side of the world, yeah. And then funny story, I also met like the head of security of Bolivia, this old guy. I randomly met him, and we also became friends. And he took me out to a few dinners, and I was literally rolling around with like a top striker and this top head of security. And it goes to show, and Hassan, when he was in California, he made friends with like the head of the camp. The message is, be a person that can build relationships. relationships are so important. If you can go somewhere and instantly be likable, you'll be fine in anywhere in the world. Don't be somebody that's just reserved and just sticks to yourself and just doesn't speak to anybody. Get yourself out there. Be likable. It's one of the most important traits of successful people. Be that person that people warm up to, and it's something that's really helped us out in our lives.
Now, that's really important that you mentioned that. I think being in business, you have to be able to network, meet people, be personable. For our listeners that are maybe introverts or find it harder to connect with people, what kind of advice would you give to them? You guys are friendly. Has it always been like that? Is that your personality, or
very simple advice? Very simple advice. Whoever you are now, you can always change. We've been conditioned to think we are fixed as the person that we are for the rest of our lives, and it's down to things like stay true to who you are, don't change, stick to your roots. But the fact is, to see new things in your life, you have to learn new traits to become a new person. And if you're an introvert, you can easily become an extrovert. You know, there's shows like Toastmasters, programs like Toastmasters, where you can go and learn public speaking. There's different events up and down the country. There's YouTube videos that will teach you how to become more of an extrovert. There's so many different ways you can reprogram your mind to become a different person. Look yourself in the mirror in the morning and tell yourself, I am confident, I am a confident speaker, I am a great communicator, I am strong, I am bold, I am a leader. All these different things that you say to yourself on a daily basis, your subconscious mind will take these things on, and slowly you'll start to change as a person. And we always say, the difference between the person that you are now and the person that you want to become is just action. That's all it is. Action and learning new things. If you can be a person that molds every single week, adapts, transforms, be like water. If you put water from one glass to the other, it changes to adapt to that glass. Don't be a person that's rigid, that just stays the same. Adapt, evolve. Ultimately, in this world, it's survival of the fittest. You've seen it yourself in business and recruitment. You know, that's one of your roles. Companies are looking for the best of the best. If you can't be attentive, personal, alert, focused, you're gonna get left behind, and we see it time and time again. So my message is, transform, evolve. You can change who you are. The person that you want to become is literally months away.
I'd also say as well, in a lot of cases, people place way too much importance on networking and getting in with the right people, and that's the way to become successful. It's what people think, but I personally believe it's way overrated. Networking is way overrated. When you look at the real way of becoming successful, you need to build yourself up and put yourself in the position where people want to network with you, rather than just thinking about how can I get in with this person and build this relationship. Because even if you can build that relationship, if you aren't offering any value to that person, that relationship isn't going to give you any benefit. Whereas if you focus more on yourself and elevating yourself and your skill set and your foundations and how successful you are as a person, people will want to get to know you.
Exactly.
And it flips on its head. So that's
advice.
my advice.
Trust me.
Focus less on who you're meeting and who you're networking with. Focus more on yourself and build yourself up into a valuable person where you're disciplined, you're skilled, you have a great mannerism about you, you've got a great way of communicating with people. Put more focus on that, and then what you'll see is the networking happens indirectly without even knowing or even trying.
We literally don't even network. We just stick to ourselves. We work with our team. We focus on our businesses. We've got a solid routine. We wake up in the morning, 5 a.m., go to boxing or CrossFit or gym, get to the office, work hard, come back, we pray our prayers, have some food, and then it's the same thing the next day. We don't even network, but we've got a fantastic network of lawyers, accountants, business advisors. We've got a guy that mentors us that's worth £300 million. He came to us, and this is the thing, if you can build yourself up to be a successful person, that network comes to you. It's crazy.
And start off, we'll talk about that, but start off by getting in shape as well. If you get in shape, you automatically tell people around you that you're a disciplined person, that you're successful in your own right. Forget about the business knowledge or niche specialist knowledge that you might have in your head. Just by being in shape, you send a solid message out to people that you don't mess around, that you care about yourself, you have pride in yourself, and people will automatically want to get to know you. And when you're in shape as well, you have naturally more endorphins, more positive hormones. You start smiling easier. You're more of a welcoming, approachable person. And in turn, that has a positive outcome as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen that kind of advice from a fair few high performers. Be in shape, be physically fit, and people respect you for that. That's a powerful message there. I've just got a follow-up question regarding your time away then. Your twins, for those that don't know, have you introduced them as twins on the camera?
Obviously, I'm the better looking twin.
He's the better looking one.
Yeah, which one came out earlier?
Yeah, Hassan came out earlier.
Yeah.
Hassan and
Basically,
Hussein.
I came out 1 minute earlier, so when I saw him, I went, ah! So I became uglier.
Is that you say? Okay, so you're the older one.
Yeah.
So for yourself, you guys are quite close. Is that the first time that you guys actually spent time away when you went on these
It is.
different ventures?
First
It's
time.
the first time?
First time. It was quite weird actually because we missed each other and it was weird being separated. But obviously with like FaceTime, WhatsApp, you know, you can always stay in touch. But when we did reunite after the 3 months, it was a fantastic feeling because when you're away from your twin brother, you feel it. It's not like a sibling who's a few years older or younger than you. It's your twin. You know, you come from the same person, you know, same belly. And it's a very unique and special connection that it's indescribable and it's only a feeling that twins will actually be able to relate to.
Yeah.
But, you know, being a twin, it's a gift. It's a very special thing and it's our super weapon. You know, we've got a connection that nobody else can replicate because I know when he's feeling off or when I'm feeling off, he knows. Or when something is out of line or needs to be done, we've got that connection straight away and we are able to pick each other up as well. So if I'm feeling down, he'll pick me up and vice versa.
So
Yeah.
there is a different level of being in sync. Do you
Definitely.
believe that? Yeah.
The funny thing is, though, when we both came back from our travels, you had me on one hand, I was training twice a day, eating Mexican food all day, and training with a professional bodybuilder who taught me loads. And Hussein came back from being in the poorest country, one of the poorest countries in the world, not having access to a gym. And so I basically came back like
I was still hench
warrior.
though.
I was a machine. I was hench. And then Hussein was still hench, but there was like a big difference
There was a difference.
in our bodies when we first. Well, obviously, I taught him what I learned, and then he just leveled up in like a month.
Like the elder brother should
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Okay. You remind me of, I don't know if you've seen the Hodge twins.
Yeah.
Very similar kind of appearance. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. Yeah. I've seen them before on YouTube.
In terms of being twins, then you must have different personalities, and a lot of our listeners want to know the difference between you both as well as the similarities.
I'd say we are both very similar, but we're quite different as well. I would say I'm more of, if we have a goal, attack. How can we make as much noise as possible? And how can we use what we have under our belt to be able to get to that goal as fast as possible? But I won't care about the back end, what's happening in the back end.
Yeah.
And I'll think of ideas, but I won't necessarily follow all of them up. But in business, follow up is very important because you can think of loads of ideas, but if you don't have the process in place to execute on them, it's worthless.
Hassan, I would describe it as Hassan's like the sniper. If you think about a sniper, pew, bullet takes out that hitman.
Yeah.
I'm the person that brings the artillery behind to make sure we're protected, everything's been done correctly. That's in place, this is in place, that doesn't go wrong. So both of us combined, we're a formidable team because he takes the opposition out and I come in with a backup, making sure that we cover all angles, all posts, and we take over.
I'd agree.
I like that.
Obviously, we're not going to take you out or anything.
Yeah, I'm looking for the sniper now. Okay, so moving on from there, do you come back after your volunteering experience, reunited? What happened then? Did you go to university?
Yeah. So we went to university. So we went to university in Valencia, Spain. It was called Universidad Europea, which was one of the top universities in Spain.
So just for the listeners there, why did you go to Spain as opposed to doing it in the UK?
I think it was a mixture of a few things. So in UK, you need to get like A star AA, ridiculous A levels to get into the UK. We got like double A, B or something. We still got good grades, but it wasn't enough to get into UK dental school. So we'd have to like reset. That was part of the reason. But the main reason was because we wanted to go abroad. We learned Spanish. We already knew Spanish. We wanted to go to a European country, learn a new culture, meet new people, experience life abroad. And it was the best 5 years of our life. The experience that we had in Spain, studying abroad with students from different countries, I want my kids to have that same experience. When you meet people from different countries, you learn new languages, you learn new cultures, new ways of working, your people skills improves. And it's something that I urge everyone to do, you know, all the youth out there. Go and travel, go to a different country, learn how those people speak, how they interact, what their ethics are, and that will be able to gain you a new perspective. And before you know it, you've gone to different countries and you've become more rich as a person, not just financially. Because when you say, oh, I'm wealthier, it's not just about money, it's about your experiences, your life experiences, your awareness, how you can interact with people, and it's something that's massively helps in our life. Those 5 years in Spain were fantastic.
Just for context, A lot of our listeners like to fill in the holes throughout your life story, which is why we like to structure our podcasts. One of the things that I'm thinking is, how did you fund that then? Was it your
Through our parents?
Through your parents,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
old man, your family funded that. We quickly touched upon, they came to the UK as students. Did they then progress and secure a good role, or did they go into business, or how were they
Definitely,
earning their money?
So they came as students. They learned how to become the best at what they are in terms of like in a hospital position. So they did their degrees, masters and PhD. They worked, so they had a good salary, but it wasn't like a crazy salary where you can ball out and buy like G-Wagons and Porsches and, you know, fly around. They had a stable career, but they were really good at saving. One thing about Libyan families are they know how to save. Same with Asians as well. You know, Pakistani families are great at saving as well. And it's something that's been instilled in us, which we basically don't even believe in. Like right now, we don't believe in saving. We believe in investing. We believe in spending. But it's something that helped us out in our uni experience, because they'd save money to be able to spend on in our education. And because the way the uni was, you could just pay monthly. Like you didn't have to pay all at one go. So it wasn't like they had loads of money to spend on education. They just managed their funds in a way so that we could go and study abroad and allow us to get our degree.
Yeah, but it was a strain on our family, and it was a massive investment from our parents, and it's something that we, you know, will always be so grateful to them for.
Inshallah, so they sacrificed
Sacrificed a lot
to send
Yep.
you abroad. You mentioned it's a slight culture change. What's the UK like compared to Spain?
Yeah.
Completely different. Spain, the weather's amazing. The people are extremely open, happy because the weather's always so nice. It's a simple life there for Spanish people. They place less emphasis on material things and more importance on feeling good, on social life, on family, on the simple things like nice weather, nice food. And you really learn to appreciate the basic things in life. But at the same time, you feel like you're becoming more of an extrovert because of the social aspect of their culture. And because you start to see the world in a different paradigm, you start to see the world in a bigger aspect. You know, you see how big the world is and how different cultures work. It makes you more cultured as well, and that has a massive impact in your life. But I'd say Spanish culture compared to UK culture, completely different. And Spanish culture is very similar to Arabic culture, where it's very family orientated, very open, very outgoing. And yeah, we loved it.
And just circling back to what you just said then about our family invested in us, they absolutely did, and it's something that we carried forward in our life. We were so motivated to show them that their investment was worthwhile, and that's why we worked so hard to build the brand up, to build our business up, and make a lot of money for the family. Whereas a lot of students that studied abroad, some families had remortgaged their houses to put their kids through the education, and those kids still flopped. Like there was a student that, I won't mention his full name, but basically he was one of those students that kept resitting a year. He was distracted, he'd go out with girls, go out for like partying, but his parents had remortgaged their houses to basically got out their house to pay for his education, and he still wasn't taking it seriously. So I was thinking to myself, like, if my parents had done all this for me, I would be grafting every single day, but he was just so selfish. He put his pleasure before his family. And I mean, there's so many stories about this one student. The guy was an absolute joker. I mean,
He tried to find a shortcut whenever he could.
Okay.
One time for the final exam, it was pediatrics, which is children's dentistry. He had his girlfriend at home, and what he would do is he bought these €300 spy glasses specialist devices.
Next level spyware.
Yeah, next level spyware. And it was attached to a microphone in his ear, like a mini microphone.
No way.
So he was speaking to his girlfriend in their apartment back home. He was in the class, and he would just be repeating exam questions, saying something like, how many cells does this particular thing have, for example? And then his girlfriend back home would go through the slideshows, find the question, tell him, and then he'd write it down. So what happened was, though, he didn't know that there was a blue light flashing on the glasses. So when the teacher came past, didn't say anything. At the end of the exam, he said to the person's name, called the person, just let me see those glasses for a second. I want to see what that light is. And guess what he did? He said, what glasses? Took them off and threw them out the window. The problem was he missed the window. It bounced off the wall. This is a real life story. And he picked him up, and then, yeah, basically he failed
so
the
you
year.
got caught cheating?
He got caught cheating, yeah.
And he was like blacklisted for the rest of his career at uni. Like the teacher was just failing for no reason. Like he'd get like a 9 out of 10, he'd still fail. Literally, he was like on the blacklist of all teachers. And it just went. The thing about a private uni is all teachers know each other. They have like WhatsApp groups, and if they don't like a student, you've had it. You're knackered. Yeah.
The same guy as well. He had such bad luck from this experience. He came to an additional clinical class just to practice. He didn't even have to be there, but
Fair play to him.
but the thing is, though, this is they're fair play.
Fair play,
But
exactly.
where it
Fair
went
play.
wrong, where you'd think that, but where it went wrong was he built such a bad reputation. The teacher came over to see what he's practicing on, saw he was doing such a bad job, and gave him a failed grade. And he failed the practical in a volunteer situation.
And it was a Saturday class. You had to wake up early. Imagine you've gone to this class, you've woken up early on a Saturday to volunteer your time to show how much of a fantastic student you are, and the teacher still doesn't rate you and fails you on your day off. I
Yeah.
could not believe it. Literally, he was like
Shocking.
a walking meme.
And
Yeah. I mean, there were some jokes times in our university. We had the best university ever.
so it wasn't all serious.
It wasn't all
dentist.
serious.
No, it
We
wasn't
had
all
an
serious.
amazing time. You know, we smashed our exams. We were non-stop working on different areas in terms of like business knowledge, sales knowledge, marketing, management. We wouldn't waste any time, but at the same time, we just had the best time ever. You know, we had the best friendship group. The teachers loved us so much. It was just a great experience. We perfected Spanish as well.
You were perfecting different areas. Did you have a vision that you were eventually going to start up a business, or whilst you're at uni, why are you thinking about business? Have you already a few steps ahead?
We knew straight away that we'd be involved in business, that
Okay.
clinical dentistry wouldn't be our life, even though we respect it and we love clinical dentistry. We just knew that we wanted to shape an industry and do something on a big scale. And it all comes down to what Hussein was saying. You look at where you are right now and who you need to become to execute on your goals, and you bridge that gap in ability between who you are right now and who you know you need to become. Normally that's a certain skill set. Sales, for example, marketing, management, team building, communication. It depends based on who you want to be in the future and what you want to execute. But for us, we knew we wanted to be in business on a big scale. So we learned about communication, about marketing, about brand building, about sales, about management. We were on YouTube, we were reading books, we bought online courses. We were relentless, and we would do it evenings, weekends, we wouldn't stop. And that gave us a head start in life and in our careers, and that's why we were able to fast track success. It's because when everybody else was chilling out, going out on a weekend, we were training, studying and learning, and we compressed time. And that's what life's about, compressing time and trying to do things as fast as possible.
We always say, like, if you set yourself a 10-year goal, why set yourself a 10-year goal when if you put your mind to it, you can achieve that 10-year goal in a year? Trust me, it can be done. And we move so quick. What we achieve in 1 week, it takes most people to achieve in 1 year. We set our goals out, we wake up full of energy, beast mode, and we just smash it. And we tell our team as well, like, we're moving quick. We're not here just to wait around for a year or 2 years and, you know, take baby steps. There's a time limit on all this. So let's get up, let's get our trousers on, let's get our shoes on and absolutely smash it.
But teams love that as well. When you give your team a vision, but you don't just promise a vision to them, you actually let them know what the steps are to get there, and they can see actionable steps being taken, and they can see progress towards the overall vision. It keeps them motivated, it keeps them committed, it makes them feel like they're a part of the bigger picture, which in turn makes them feel fulfilled and satisfied. And that's why we have such an amazing team and nobody ever leaves. It's all about management and giving your team direction, but giving them tangible direction, which means direction that they know is achievable, realistic, and they can see moves towards that end goal. That's very important. What a lot of employers do, or company directors do, is they say, we want to achieve this. Don't really show their team the action. Don't really explain how it's going to be done and what the plan is. Don't give it a time limit, and then the team get disheartened and leave. That's where people go wrong.
Yeah, I've experienced that quite a bit in recruitment. That's one of the main reasons why
We've
people
experienced it as
leave.
well. You know, we've learned a lot from our mistakes as well. We haven't done things perfect all the time. We've been through trial and errors, and we've been through tribulations, but it's what teaches you.
Yeah, I've just, it's probably off camera, but I can notice the little whiteboard with all the goals. I was looking through it all earlier before you guys came, so I like how organised you are. Why is that placed strategically near there? Is that just a morning meeting that you guys have, or?
Yeah, so we believe in a saying, the battle is won off the battlefield, and it all comes down to planning and strategy. So we take time every single day to map out our goals for the next day, what we want to achieve, and we achieve them. And what you just said there, organisation, it comes down to a very important word, conscientiousness. And you have this trait in yourself, and it comes down into 4 things. Being a perfectionist, yeah. When we arrived today, you'd perfected the whole setup, all the cameras, the plaques showing the brand.
Yeah.
You
Is this
know,
one of the best
the
setups that
fabrics.
you've
It's
seen?
the best setup so
That's
far.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you're a perfectionist, and what you do, your team are perfectionists as well. So hats off to you.
Yeah.
Then the second thing is being organized. Yeah. Organizing the date and time to come down, making sure you're here early, making sure that you set up before we come here, so we can come with excitement, rather than getting here and then there's an hour setting up, and then by then we've lost interest. So far, being a perfectionist, being organized, two really important traits that are part of this bigger word, which is conscientiousness. Third thing is prudence, being able to make the right decision. Will come in the evening when they're free, so they can forget about all the other things that they've got going on and fully focus with me. Fourth thing is being diligent, being hardworking. A really important trait. We could all be chilling right now. It's 9 p.m. But no, we're all hardworking people. We want to make a difference. We want to make an impact. So let's get the work in. And those four things make up that word conscientiousness. So if you can carry that trait forward in life, you'll be massively successful. A lot of people think it's just about working hard and grafting and staying up until 2 a.m. and just having Red Bulls and Domino's pizzas, and that's how I become more successful. But the fact is, you need all four traits. You need to be perfectionist, you need to be organized, you need to be prudent, and you need to be a diligent person.
I love how you've broken that down. And would you say you both have always been like that, or is that something that you've learned over time?
We've always been like that. As we've been through life, being completely transparent, sometimes you lose some of those areas as you go through hardship, difficulty, but that's all part of maturing as a business person and as maturing as an adult in general. You try your best, but sometimes your best isn't always good enough compared to what you can do. But as long as you're identifying that, being brutally honest with yourself, being fully transparent, and get yourself back in the right tracks, that's all that matters. And you'll find that as you mature and become more skilled as a business person, as an operator, we call it, you'll go through less times where you don't follow all of those four traits of a conscientious person, and you'll just be consistent. And that's when the magic really starts to happen, because you just breeze through things, and any task that you put your mind to just gets done and you succeed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like how you broke that down. So you graduate from university in Spain. Do you then move back to the UK?
Moved back to the UK, and then we essentially got stuck into the business. So the Yorkshire Dental Suite was founded then, Yorkshire Dental Suite Leeds, in 2016.
So you didn't go from uni to a career, you went uni to business?
Yeah, uni to business as dentists. So we were working as dentists in our dental clinic, which was Yorkshire Dental Suite.
Brilliant.
At that point, we had zero patients. So we had no patients, no brand, no team. It was literally just dental chairs, ready to work, and we had to build things up massively. So that's where we essentially got to work, and we utilised the knowledge that we gained at university for our extra training and extra learning to build a brand. So we had to be able to attract patients, attract customers. We had to build a team as well, so attract dentists, attract front of house team members, dental nurses, the full team needed for the operation. And then we also had to treat patients as well. So we essentially just got to work and just pushed things forward.
Mashallah. And in terms of the brand, if you had to describe your business, what makes it different from every other business?
I would say that we transform lives through dentistry, but we do it in a unique way by making dentistry accessible, affordable, but inclusive to everybody as well.
And we make it into an experience as well, so it's not just a treatment. And when you look at a business, you can put a price on a product. So I can get a t-shirt, a plain black t-shirt, for £15, or I could also get it for £25. There or thereabouts, there's £10 in it. You can't really charge £500. So there's a price on a product, but you can't put a price on an experience. And we put patients through an experience. Treatments in dentistry, you can get teeth whitening, you can get a filling done, you can shop around for prices, but you can't shop around for the same experience. And what we do is we change people's perception of dentistry. Gone are the days where you go to a dentist, it's an old guy in a white lab jacket covered in blood, scaring the hell out of you. Now it's nice, you walk into our clinic, nice smell of oud, nice sofas, nice scenery, nice plants, nice staff with a smile on their face. They want to be there. They're not just there because they're after their wage. They genuinely want you to enjoy your treatment. And it's a completely different experience, and it's an experience that we've managed to spread across the UK indirectly. A lot of dentists have looked up to us. And when you talk about what we came out of university and we took over an industry, we disrupted an industry. We massively upset a lot of people. But now, those people that we upset, they're fans. They've changed their clinic to look like ours. They copy our website. They copy our social media, and it's crazy how the tables turn. But now we're on a different wave where we're just bringing in new services, new innovations. We've acquired smartwork.co.uk. Gone are the days where you pay 5k for aligners. You can get it done for 2k now, and it's all done by a dentist. We've got like a massive network of dentists that work with us up and down the country, over 500, and we feed their clinics as well with patients. So tables are turning, the industry's changing, and we're all about thinking outside the box, innovating, thinking of new ways to add value to a marketplace, because you get paid in proportion to the value that you give a marketplace. Always remember that. People think, how do I make money? You make money by creating value. All these people that are doing the same thing, they've got marketing agencies and they run ads, they're all doing the same thing. You're not creating more value, but if you can think outside the box, and how can you make life easy for that customer, then you'll get paid massively.
Yeah. And you mentioned one thing, innovation. Even though we're hands-off clinically, so we don't treat patients anymore, even though at one time we did, and we were doing some of the best smile makeovers, and we're actually really appreciative of the times that we spent treating patients and giving them smile makeovers, because we learnt a lot. We are always on the forefront of innovation in dentistry. Like, for example, we now have the UK trademark for nanofill composite bonding, which is a new level in composite bonding, which I'm sure you've heard of. Yeah. It's one of the most popular cosmetic dental treatments, but you can get different types of composite that are put over the teeth to improve the size, colour and shape, whereas nanofill composite bonding is a type of composite that is the brightest, it polishes the best, so it looks the most beautiful, and it's also the most resistant to chipping as well. And we have the trademark for that, which it just goes to show we're always looking at how we can not just do standard composite bonding, how can we elevate that? Such a popular treatment like this, how can we give our clients the best of the best in that treatment category? And that's just one example. Another one is full mouth implants. Patients with dentures, for example, that have to take out pieces of plastic from out of their mouth and put them in, it massively affects the quality of their life. We've got YDS implants now, which is a sub-brand of Yorkshire Dental Suite, which focuses just on full mouth implants, where you can go in, if you have failing teeth or dentures, we'll place some screws in your jawbone in a very comfortable way and give you a fixed set of teeth on the same day. So it's just a transformative, life-changing thing. And these are all things that we're doing in the background to really drive the industry forward and stay in the forefront of dentistry, not just in the UK, but on a global scale. That's what we aim to do.
You mentioned you got the copyright there. How do you get the copyright? Is that like a patent where no other competitors can use that but you?
So it's a trademark on the term, on the branding term, right. Nanofill composite bonding. The actual technique has been developed by our cosmetic dentists. Okay. So it's a special way of us doing the actual procedure to get the results that we believe are the best.
In terms of your business, I can imagine at the beginning it was completely different to what you're talking about now. What kind of challenges and struggles did you face starting up the business? Was it always high flying, or did you go through some challenging times?
It definitely wasn't always high flying. It started off quite difficult, really difficult actually. We were part of the machine. So when we look at a business, we look at that business as a machine, which means that there's different cogs and components of that machine. And you can either be a component in the machine, or you can be the machine operator, stood outside of the machine, operating it, so pressing the controls and making sure that the cogs and pistons are well oiled and functioning correctly. When we first started, we were in the machine, which means that it's a lot more difficult to keep a team on board. It's difficult to know what's happening in the business because you're inside it rather than outside the business. And it's also difficult to have the time to think of how you can innovate, create, and drive that business forward hard. That's what needs to be done in a business. It needs to be driven forward hard. There's no such thing as mediocre or stagnation. If you're stagnating, you're going down as a business. You need to be driving it forward. And it's very difficult to do that when you're in a machine. But because we also didn't have our goals clearly defined, even though we knew we wanted to be big, it's difficult to motivate a team that way because they come in, they're stuck in a rut. It's the same thing every single day. Because of inexperience in management, you can have a team that's toxic. And what happens in a toxic team is it's like a cancer. It starts with one person. Yeah. Before you know it, the whole team is talking nonsense, spreading negativity, and it creates an awful work environment. Another thing to add, when we first opened up, we didn't have a reliable source of gaining patients. We didn't have the right sales process in place to know exactly how many leads are coming in for patient inquiries, what happens in the middle in that sales cycle when that lead is converted to an actual booking, and what happens if that patient doesn't actually book in when there's fall through. Because what happens is, if you have a sales process that isn't a lean, organized sales process, you have gaps in that funnel where water starts to leak out. Water in this case is money. all of these things were happening when we first opened up, but then we became more knowledgeable in business. We perfected management, sales process, making sure that we're controlling client satisfaction and making sure that our patients are receiving the best level of care possible and the best experience possible, and making sure that we're always innovating as a brand as well, and really driving the limits of cosmetic dentistry.
So one thing I always try and figure out is, with the dentist industry, why is the NHS struggling so much, and what is the reason why? For example, with myself, I've got a Leeds dentist. I have to travel 40 minutes to Headingley when I'm from Bradford, when I've tried contacting the people in Bradford and they're just like, waiting list 5 years, blah blah blah. Why are they facing these issues?
There's a massive NHS crisis, and it's why we're campaigning to save NHS dentistry. You know, we've been making loads of videos, we've been meeting different people, our local MP. We're trying to meet with Rishi Sunak because there's a massive problem right now in this country and no one's trying to fix it. Dentists are moaning about it, but no one's taking action. But we are taking action. You know, we're trying our hardest now. We're launching a petition which needs 100,000 signatures so we can be heard in Parliament, because we've got a massive roadmap as to how we can fix all these issues. Number of dentists, there's not enough NHS dentists in the country. Why is there not enough dentists? Because there's no incentive for them to work in the NHS. We need to fix that. The way dentists are paid in the NHS is completely broken. There needs to be a different way of paying. The third thing is patient education. Patients aren't going to see the dentist regularly enough, so we're having a reactive approach to dentistry rather than countries like Sweden, who are being proactive. You know, they're educating their public on how to take care of their teeth, which in turn means that there's less stress on the country's dental system. So there's loads of different problems that we have the solutions for, and we're desperate to meet Rishi Sunak and just sit down with him and say, Rishi, these are the problems, these are the solutions, let's get active, let's fix them, because the British public deserve more. And people have told us before, you guys are the highest rated dental clinic brand, you're extremely successful in dentistry, you have flying private jets, luxury cars. Who are you to talk about NHS dentistry? And our response is really simple. In order for someone to make a change in industry, they have to be a leader in that industry. Because if we were just regular dentists, we wouldn't have a voice. And if we didn't have a voice, we wouldn't be able to make a change. And even though we are opening up a lot of private dental clinics in the UK, that was already going to happen by competitors. So it might as well be us. However, would you rather have somebody who's opening up private dental clinics and not doing anything about the NHS crisis, or somebody who's opening up private clinics but also has a great plan to make sure that NHS dentistry is brought back on track to cater for people that can't go for private dental care? Obviously the second option, which is what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. We have a really simple plan. We've got a great goal to get in front of Rishi Sunak to explain these simple plans to him, because we are creative, we're innovative, we understand the sector better than anybody, and we can really get things back on track.
So Rishi Sunak, if you're listening, you know he watches the CEO Club, so this is your chance now.
Rishi, we're going to be seeing you very soon.
I love that. I think one of the things I love about you guys is your vision and ability to collaborate instead of seeing people as competition.
What we noticed in dentistry was a lot of people think dentists are rich. There are some wealthy dentists, but there's a lot of poor dentists as well, because what happens is they go to uni, they become great at dentistry, fillings, crown preps, extractions, but dental school doesn't teach you how to become successful in terms of your mindset, your business acumen, how to communicate to patients, how to get private treatment plans on. And what happens is they come out into the world of dentistry and they basically become very average as dentists, and they lose passion for it. That's why dentistry's got one of the highest suicide rates, because they're sold. Yeah, it's got the highest suicide rates. It's crazy.
The highest suicide rates in what, the UK?
One of the highest suicide rates in a profession is dentistry, and that's because they're sold a false promise. And dental school misses out one very important module: how to become successful. And that's why we created the Academy of Successful Dentists, the Successful Dentist Academy, to be able to bridge that gap. We've got loads of students. They're loving it. They're becoming more rich. They're learning how to add value to the marketplace, and not only they're learning how to make more money, but they're learning how to become better dentists in the whole process, which is fantastic, and it's rewarding for us as well.
And is this where you go out to people in your association and you have seen that you give back?
Exactly, yeah.
Is that what it is? Or is that different?
That's different, yeah. That's another association.
Is that another association?
This is something else. So we've really shaken up dentistry and done something that's never been done before by setting up the Dental Nurse Association. We have almost 1,000 members now, which is growing rapidly, and it's the first time ever that dentists have provided a platform for dental nurses to elevate, succeed, develop and feel supported. So we have a vibrant community where dental nurses that are part of the association can engage with each other, can ask each other questions. We support them with HR resources, with advice on how to respond to employers in situations that aren't really favourable for the dental nurse. But we also just have a great community where nurses can speak to each other, and that is a massive thing in dental nursing because it's such an isolated profession where these nurses are put under immense amounts of pressure every single day, and they have no one to speak to and no one to support them. We choose 5 winners every 2 weeks and give them a £500 reward just as a gesture of thanks for the amazing work that they do. And then we also pop up in different locations and give them rewards and presents just to really elevate the profession even more and put dental nurses on the map even more than what they are already, because they are massively on the map.
Oh, and what's the rationale behind giving back and giving them money and going to them and so giving them a little £100 or £500? I watched a few videos. I'm going to plug a few videos in here at this point. What's the rationale behind that? Are you trying to put a smile on their face? Are you trying to make them feel happy?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and the rationale behind it is giving back, spreading positivity, increasing awareness on this positive movement for dental nurses, because they do so much for dentistry across the UK and they've never really been recognised. Because if you think about it, a dentist can't do their job without the support of their dental nurse, who is the hidden hero in the background, making sure that the procedure goes to plan, supports the dentist through the procedure, and is often extremely involved in the final smile result or the treatment of the patient, but yet they don't get any recognition. And what was happening because of that is dental nurses were leaving the profession, less nurses were coming into the profession. But what we've seen is, by the movement that we've created with the Dental Nurse Association, dental nurses feel more supported than ever. More of them are coming into the profession and less of them are leaving, because they really see a positive movement happening in the industry. And we haven't even scratched the surface with what we actually want to be doing with the Dental Nurse Association. We've got massive plans for it. It's growing day by day, and we plan on making it the biggest association in dentistry.
Huge respect to you for that.
Thank you.
I watched a few of the clips myself. They inspire me when you go up to them and I look at their reactions and the smile on their faces when they're at work. They're not expecting it.
I love it because most employers, they don't value their staff and they don't make them feel special. So that one little gesture of kindness, it makes them feel important. It makes them realise, wow, I'm not just somebody behind the scenes, I'm actually appreciated. And it's something that we love doing. You know, we do pop-ups up and down the country, Newcastle, London, Manchester, Bradford, and it's something that we're going to do more of because we love putting a smile on nurses' faces.
The Bradford one's a big one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Big shout out to
Did
Bradford.
you see the Bradford
Yeah,
video?
I watched it. I loved
Those
it.
that
people
was-
beeping as
blew
they
up.
drove by as well. Like they recognised it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Bradford for our listeners? We've got a lot
Love
of
Bradford.
listeners from Bradford.
Best food, best vibes. We've got loads of friends from there, and it's a place that, you know, we always go out and eat, and it's just a nice area.
Yeah, love it.
I love that. Just logistically speaking, when you're going to these places and you're giving them a little incentive here and there, I'm assuming, are those people that they're working for your competitors? I'm just trying to get my head
They
around
are,
it.
yeah.
They are.
So these are
how does that work?
So
we don't really see them as competitors. We don't see anybody as competitors because we genuinely feel like we're doing our own thing. And if you have this mindset of competitor, it's negative. We have love for everyone. And when we go to these clinics, it's not because we want to go to a random clinic and just kind of go in there and step on the toes.
Yeah.
We just want to show love to nurses. And a lot of these clinics are getting great coverage as well. So we get messages like, oh, thanks for popping by. You know, you've promoted my clinic. I've got more customers now. So there's a lot of indirect benefits. But in terms of like competition, we don't really see it. We just see other people in the industry. We're in a league of our own, and we want to show love to everyone and inspire people to become better.
I love that mindset, and like I said before, it shows that you don't see people as competition. Unfortunately, people out there don't have that same mindset, where sometimes they might see you as competition or they might see other people as competitors. So where has that mindset come from, where you focus more on collaboration? You don't see people as competition. Even for myself, with the suits or the recruitment or the podcast, whenever I try and network and meet people, you'll get people that are open to speaking to you, whereas you'll get other people that are like, oh, well, he's got the same business as me, why is he trying to network with me? They
Yeah.
have that sort of skeptical kind of, no, I don't want to. And the boss that I used to work for, he was exactly the same. He was like, don't speak to anybody in your industry because they're going to take all your secrets. And he had that kind of mindset, and people do have that mindset. So I always attract naturally myself to people like yourself, where you have that collaborative mindset. Where does that come from?
So with people that think, if I help somebody, they might take away my business, I think that comes from insecurity. If you're somebody who's secure in yourself, in your ability, you'll never think that way, because you'll know that even if you do help somebody out, you still have the ability to get towards your dreams. And if you feel like just by helping someone or giving them some advice, that will take away from your chance of being successful, then you're never really in a position to be successful in the first place. And that's what I'll say.
And you're giving out a weird energy. Be abundant, be positive, help people, because good things will come back. And 9 times out of 10, when you help people out or give them your secrets, they never really act on it anyway. So you just give them advice and
no one ever does it.
Yeah, 90% of people don't really do it. I love that mindset. I've got exactly the same mindset. I like it when people are in my industry. So if somebody says they want to start up a podcast, I'll always go out my way to help them, because I like the fact that somebody's in my industry, or suits or recruitment, because you've got something to talk about. You've got stuff in common. So I like that kind of mindset.
We were chatting about starting a suit brand though, weren't we, Hassan?
Yeah.
If you ever want to start a suit brand, this is the way to go, honestly. This is a good time to plug in our suits. We've got all the fabrics on the table.
I want to give your suit a massive shout out. It looks absolutely fresh.
No.
We're massively into our suits.
I can see you guys are smart.
Got to look sharp, and that it looks fantastic.
We're gonna
Great
get
quality.
you in. We like the old school double-breasted pinstripe kind of vibe.
I love it as well. I love that as well.
Classic vibe.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna get you guys in some bespoke suits.
Amazing.
Get your branding in there as well. So the inside lining, we do a lot of companies where we print their logos and stuff in the inside lining.
Amazing.
For marketing, which is always good. So yeah, and if you want to start up a suit brand, I'm your man. We can talk off camera. Yeah. So in terms of when your business actually started to see success then, so you're grafting it out, you're working, when do you start to feel like you're successful, and when does the business start to really take off?
The time that we really realised that our business was becoming successful was when it was successful without us, which means that it didn't depend on our enthusiasm, our energy, us doing the treatments hands-on, and instead it was a result of the machine that we'd created working beautifully. That's when we saw the real success, because then when you start to operate the machine, you can add more cogs here and there and scale it up, and you can add a special type of engine oil, for example, that will increase the results even more. And you see it become like a snowball where it starts off small, it gets bigger and bigger. Before you know it, you start seeing money coming from all different directions, and that's when you see the real success. And the key is, when you do see that, is to maintain control, maintain discipline, understand why it's becoming more successful, so you know what's going on and you're not just clueless or think it's happening by chance, and push things on even harder.
And keep that momentum going. Don't stagnate, keep pushing forward. And a lot of people, they get a little bit of success in business, then they stop because they get complacent. But the trick is, when you're up, keep on pushing forward, keep pushing. You know, we've done 3 podcasts in the last 3 days. And the trick is, in business, is when you're up, keep going, keep pushing forward. We've been flat out for the last few years, just non-stop work. We've got a Channel 5 programme coming out on Sunday, Rich Holiday, Poor Holiday, so if you want to tune into that, please tune in. And we put ourselves out there because we know an important part of business is PR, getting attention and being able to push people to your brands. So we've got massive plans to keep pushing forward, doing more things in the media, and really getting our message across.
So what's driving you? I think this is something that a lot of listeners want to know, is when you've got parked outside the Lamborghinis, you've got the private jet lifestyle, which we're going to talk about in a little bit more detail, the G-Wagon, all the rest of the beautiful luxury cars, mashallah, and you've got all the YDS private number plates as well. You've taken them off the market.
Funny story on the number plates. We were bidding for one YDS, and there was this person just kept bidding. Every bid I put in, they would bid. And I was thinking to myself, who else wants a YDS number plate? There's not many companies out there, and I was adamant that it was another number plate reseller trying to buy it to resell it onto us.
Yeah, that's what they do.
But I just kept bidding, and finally we got it.
So you paid a lot for it?
Yeah, I paid quite a bit for it, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. So whoever that guy is, he didn't get his profit in the end, unfortunately.
We had the last laugh. Yeah.
So when you are that successful and you have all these luxuries in life, you live in a beautiful house, mashallah, how do you then still find the discipline to work hard and have that drive within you? You've got a harder work ethic than most people that live average lives. So when you're living and you're living your best life, how are you then able to still discipline yourself? It's now 10:30. You don't really need to be here doing a podcast.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're putting in the work, which goes to show some traits of your personality. What is it that's driving you?
The 2 most important things in life, being able to set goals and accountability. Goal setting is very important. When you set a goal, you need to stick to that goal irrespective of what happens alongside that goal. So for us, our goal is £1 billion. That's what we're working towards right now. When we make £1 billion, that for us will be our goal has been achieved. it doesn't mean that our life's over and us wanting to live a successful life. That will always still want to happen in the background. But the first thing that we're focused on right now is making £1 billion in our company.
Where does that come from, the figure £1 billion?
Multi-millions isn't enough for us. We want that billion because we know the person that we'll become, the people we'll become on that journey, will be somebody that evolves and transforms and we will become the best version of ourselves. And when you go about life, you can be complacent and just be happy with what you have. But it's not really about material goods, nice house, nice cars. It is what it is. We're very grateful. We're very thankful for all the things that we have. But it becomes about the goal setting and achieving that goal and hitting that target and the wins, celebrating, yes, we've done this, we've done that, we've achieved this milestone. And when you get to a certain level, you can get a new car, you can get a new watch or nice clothes or go on that holiday. Big deal. It's about the experience along the journey, changing that person's life, giving that staff member promotion, selling that thing, that product or service, seeing that company grow, and it becomes that experience and that emotion that you feel along the journey that becomes the winning prize, really.
So is the £1 billion just a goal for you, and once you get there, you'll then move on to the next goal?
We'll carry on working, we might invest in a few companies, we might mentor, we'll always be doing something because it's our personality, it's in our DNA. We won't just sit on the beach and just relax because we'll get bored of that after 3 days.
Yeah.
It's a target that we're going to go for. We know we're going to hit it, inshallah, but we want to keep giving back even after we hit that goal.
That makes sense. That's when you invest into the bespoke suit business. Just plugging that in there.
I think as well, a lot of people get baffled by a big goal like £1 billion when it's not actually a massive goal. If you look at it logically, if you look at it emotionally, you associate £1 billion with it being massive and really difficult to achieve. But if you think about it logically, it's just a number. And if you have a goal of £1 million, all you have to do is multiply the goal that you have to get £1 million by a bigger number to get to 1 billion. All life is a numbers game. If you burn a certain number of calories, you'll look a certain way at the end of the week of you training.
Yeah.
If you hire a team of 5 people to do a specific task or work on a project, you'll get a certain goal. If 15 people are working on that specific task, you'll get a bigger outcome. And that's all life is. It's a numbers game, but people don't see this because we've been conditioned to think in a certain way where we limit our own ideas of what's possible in life. And that's where it all breaks down for people. But if you can convince yourself that achieving something is possible, that's 60%. I'm not even going to say half. That's 60% of the job done. The 40% is being able to put the plan in place and hold yourself accountable towards achieving that goal. That's why goal setting and accountability work together. You can set goals, but if you're not accountable, those goals will always just be a goal. But if you can set goals and wake up every single day, work towards those goals and hold yourself accountable, if you're not, and get yourself back on track, that's when the magic happens.
I love that, and I can see that you're both really ambitious. I was speaking to your brother off camera, and he mentioned you have ambitions to open 400 YDS stores, I believe.
Yeah.
Is it something along those lines?
So 400 Yorkshire Dental Suite clinic franchises.
Okay.
Some of them will be owned by us. The vast majority will be franchises. We already have a few in the pipeline happening right now. We're 2 years into our 5-year plan. Things are going fantastically well. And so we just have to keep it rolling forward and keep that momentum moving forward.
And when you tell people these kind of goals, like I've got in my head that I'd love to have a store in Birmingham, London, Manchester, Dubai. I've got in my head that I want to achieve these within the next few years. You know, when you tell people and they just laugh or they just think that's not possible, how do you react to that when you say 400 stores and people are just looking at you like that's impossible, or how can that even be possible? How can you make that happen?
If
you just see past that.
If you'd have told me 7 years ago we would have the #1 rated dental practice in the whole of the UK treating footballers and celebrities, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed you. But the fact is, that journey from where we were to where we are now, it's not a very different journey from where we are right now to where we want to become.
Yeah.
It's just another part On of a your bigger business scale. growth on a bigger scale. So it's all about perspective. The people that laugh at you can't think as big as you, and they'll always be the same places where they are. They're the people that will basically end up laughing at themselves because they're still in the same house, still the same job, still the same money, and they're still dissatisfied and dropping hate comments on people's posts. But that's why you have to surround yourself with successful people that when you tell them your goals, they think you can smash that. What's next? Not ha ha ha, you can't do it. And it's all about the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And it's cliched. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's a fact.
If you chill with dossers, you'll become a dosser. If you chill with successful people, you become successful. We chill with multimillionaires and we see things happen in our life that we think that's because we've learned it from that person or that's rubbed off on us. And it's not that we just chill with multimillionaires, but we purposely surround ourselves with people that are successful, because successful people talk about successful things and that rubs off on you and you see success in your life.
I love that. And in terms of finances, does money actually bring you happiness then? You've gone through living in a council estate, you're now really successful multimillionaires. What's your experience been like? You can talk from both perspectives.
You can't be happy worrying about paying your phone bill. That's a fact. No, money isn't the only thing that brings happiness, but it's a massive contributing factor towards things in life that give you happiness, like being able to go for food with your family, being able to go away for a weekend and not have to worry about working that day, being able to pay your bills in a relaxed way, being able to not really think about your direct debits because you've got enough money coming in. So it's not the be end all, but it allows you to become the best version of yourself. We wouldn't be who we are today, relaxed with you speaking on a podcast, if we were worried about tomorrow's earnings. We'd be anxious, stressed about tomorrow, working right now, thinking about how we're going to get some deals in.
Yeah.
But because we're in a position, thanks to God, where we are financially stable, we are able to just be the best version of ourselves and not just think about our each other or our families, but think about other people, our staff, their families, their lives. And in life, you should have a target of not just thinking about yourself or your family, but thinking about other people and adding value to their life.
That's really, really powerful. It's quite easy to get judged for success. I've seen a lot of times where you see the nice cars, the nice watches, the nice lifestyle, and instantly people are judging and saying negative things. I can remember when I was a young kid and we saw somebody driving a nice Ferrari, and I remember saying, I'd love to learn how he does that. That was my mindset. And the people around me at younger time were being like, that's daddy's, or that's definitely hired, or there are different sort of opinions and thoughts around that.
Yeah.
What would you say, why do you think successful people get so much hate, and why do you think so many people love to downplay people's success?
It's funny because we saw we posted a video on Insta, a reel, just having a bit of fun, me and him driving the Bentley with some Tupac.
I love that. When you drive, I love that.
And if you look at the comments on that post, it's literally like, hire car, rent it for 2 hours, lives in a council estate. I'm thinking to myself, what are these guys actually doing? Like, why would you take the time to comment that thinking is a hire car? It's obviously not a hire car, but those people are just miserable people, sat in their home, sat on a sofa, eating some baked beans, watching Friends or a random show on TV, wasting their lives away, being miserable, feeling better about themselves by posting comments on somebody's social media. They're never going to get anywhere in life. I never know any successful person that actually spreads hate on social media or has the time to talk crap about people. The fact is, those kind of people will always be the same. They'll just be people trolling people on the internet and they'll never change.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to live an aspirational lifestyle where you enjoy the fruits of your labour, yacht trips, private jet trips, luxury cars, nice food, quality time with your family. There's nothing wrong with that. It's something that actually I think you should aspire to live like, because it means that in order for you to get there, you'll need to provide value to a lot of people. It's not going to happen by chance. Unless you're doing something illegal, it's not going to happen by chance. You will have to help and provide value to a lot of people to be in that position. So I think it should be aspired to be like that person. And it's something that should be aspirational rather than something that should be attacked.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's your perspective. You can look at somebody. I look at you guys and I'm inspired and I want to be on your level, as opposed to looking at you with jealousy or envy or feeling like resentful. I think sometimes people feel like they deserve to be in your position when they haven't put in the work to be in your position. And I've seen that on one of your videos where you talk about putting in the work so then it pays off.
Definitely. Speculate to accumulate in life. Yes, you have to speculate, do things that might not pay off. Podcasts, videos, different content, this project, that project. Not all of them pay off, but it just takes that one thing to click and then it has a domino effect. That one TV appearance, that one viral YouTube video or TikTok, it will make all the difference. So the message is you have to speculate to accumulate. You can't just accumulate money. You have to speculate first. And a lot of people don't want to speculate. They just want to get to the top.
And a lot of people don't understand that the fastest way to succeeding is to have a parallel approach in what you're doing. And a lot of people think that to have the best chance of being successful, you should work on one thing and one thing only and focus on that one project. But that's not actually true. You should have a parallel approach to business where you've got different projects happening, still with focus and concentration and a good strategy. But when you focus on different areas, and when you work on different things at the same time, you essentially create a spider's web of success. And the different things that you're working on, as long as they're strategized for correctly, they start to work together, and it builds a strong network of a business. What most people don't know is the best way to become successful as fast as possible is to work on different things at the same time rather than focusing on one thing. If you think about it, if you have the choice between winning a horse race with one horse or having 5 horses race in a horse race, what would you choose to have the biggest chance of succeeding and getting the fastest time? Surely you'd go for the horse race that has 5 of your horses racing, because even if one is slow and a second one might be average, there'll be one horse out of the 5 that will sprint right the way to the end and achieve phenomenal success in that race. Whereas on the flip side, when you have just one horse racing, all of your bets are on that one horse. And that's what businesses like, have different angles that you're working on that work well together and will form a spider's web in your business that will make you even stronger.
I love that. I think I watched one of your vlogs. I love your daily vlogs, by the way.
Thanks.
Who does them? Is it the voiceover? Who creates them?
We chip in, so basically we'll do the vlog.
Yeah.
One of the video guys that we have will help us film it, and then we'll just do the voiceover together and just chip in and make it fun.
Both kind of split it between yourselves. Really, really powerful. When I watch them, I really enjoy them, especially the day in the life of ones. So the one I want to refer to, I watched the a few months ago, was the Ramadan ones. So what was the idea behind that?
Just on that, the funny thing is we did, as part of the Ramadan ones, a Umrah vlog.
That's the one I'm referring to.
Hussein was ill on the last 2 days of Umrah, and basically I had to do the voiceover by myself, but no one knew because obviously our voices are the same. They just thought it was both of us chipping in again. But yeah, so, and it was just showing people what our life's like, because they see the business, they see how we're like on a professional basis, and we just thought we'd show people more of our lives and how we're like as people.
And how important has Deen been for you guys then? I can see that you guys obviously keep it private, but I've seen the vlogs where you go to Jummah, day in the life of, you just mentioned there, you were in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What was that experience like as well, if you can touch upon that? Because in Ramadan, it must have been unbelievable.
Life-changing. That trip to Saudi Arabia to perform Umrah made us realise how big Islam actually is. You see people from different countries, different nationalities, all walks of life in the same place, worshipping the same God. And it was heartwarming, it was absolutely life-changing, and it brought us so much closer to God. Even though we've always had a fantastic relationship with God, we never miss a prayer, we've never missed a prayer for the last 7 years, and we have a very strong connection with God. And I think a lot of the time, people feel like they have to show how much they love God, and, you know, I'm the best Muslim in the world, you know, I've got the biggest beard. But the fact is, your relationship with God is between yourself and God. It's in your heart. It's how you treat people. Are you condescending? Do you look down on people? Are you respectful? It's more than just prayers. It's a whole sphere of different actions, beliefs, how we treat people. And with us, God's been the reason as to why we are where we are today. You know, we pray 5 prayers a day. We've never drunk a drop of alcohol. We've never done any drugs. We always do the right thing, and we always are faithful of God in the background. And it's led us to where we are today. And a lot of people think, oh yeah, I'll make some money, and then when I lose it, or when I'm in bad times, I'll then look to face God and look to start praying. And we all know there's people that have exams and then they start praying the day before the exam and they turn into like a massive imam. The fact is, love God and pray towards God in the good times and the bad times, not just the bad times.
Yeah,
and that's something that we've always done. We just always stuck to our routine with religion.
When there's a little bit of turbulence on the plane, then all of a sudden the religion comes out.
Exactly.
And you start praying to God. No, I find that intriguing. And in terms of your experience in Saudi Arabia, how was that like?
Amazing.
Especially in Ramadan.
Beautiful. It was so busy. The vibe was amazing. Just the most blessed time to go.
Hassan was an expert at jumping the barriers as well. So
I was jumping all kinds of
the
old
busiest
barriers.
time ever. There was like 5 million people there. And what would happen was we'd still get to the mosque on time for breaking our fast. But then all the guards would like start closing all these barriers. So literally it was like a game of jump the barrier, and then before you know it, we were like jumping 5 barriers through the back door, through the side door, and then we managed to find our spots inside.
And there's a few times where the majority of the group would get through the barriers, and there'd be one of us, man down, a little bit too slow, and that person, the man down, has to do whatever they need to do to get over that barrier, whether they're diving over with their hands first. It doesn't matter. If you're that person that's stranded, you need to do what you need to do to get over that barrier. So, yeah, just a beautiful, blessed time. Life-changing.
Mashallah. Has it changed your perspective on anything at all when you've come back, or?
I think it's strengthened, like Hussein was saying, our connection's always been strong, but it has been strengthened even more. And with that brings even more love for your religion.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you should always be working on. So it's just been
When you
beautiful.
go there and you see people literally from third world countries, they travel without any money. All they get is a prayer mat and their bag of belongings, and they'll sleep outside the mosque and just stay there for the full month of Ramadan. It's touching because you realise how little these people need to stay close to their God and practice their faith and be happy. And you know, in our lives, in the modern day world, we need all these things, fancy hotels, nice clothes, but the fact is there's people out there with the same set of clothes and a prayer mat living the best life ever. So it gives you a different perspective, definitely, and it definitely makes you appreciate so much the luxuries that we have in this world.
That's really inspiring. And how do you balance, you just mentioned there you pray 5 times a day, how do you balance such a busy, hectic lifestyle with praying?
We built a prayer room in our office.
Okay.
We pray our Fajr prayer. We then wake up. It's easy to fit your 5 prayers in. Anybody that says, oh, it's hard, they're just liars. The fact is, it takes 2 minutes, 5 minutes to pray. And also, a lot of people think at their workplaces they can't pray. Bosses will respect you more for practicing your faith. So whenever we've been at school or when we worked in our gap year, we'd always say to that manager, can we have 5 minutes to pray, please? Because as a employer, they have to respect your faith. And also they think, wow, this person actually believes in their faith. They're not just one of those people that just doesn't pray and doesn't really practice. They are people that are faithful. So if you can be a person that stands up for your religion, stands up for your belief, don't be shy. Make sure you pray those 5 prayers every single day because it blesses you throughout the day. And it's one of the main pillars of Islam. And if you don't do it, you're not really Muslim, are you?
Mashallah. I saw one of your videos where you were, I think it was on TikTok, where you're giving away a lot of the food and it was just getting rushed and everyone's coming at you. You recall that
was
moment?
crazy. That was crazy, yeah.
Okay, what was
we,
that
we,
like?
we were looking to make it out of there alive.
I'm going to post that clip in here.
Yeah.
What was that like then? Because it felt quite overwhelming just watching it.
I think in hindsight, we should have set up like a system, but we were just excited, you know, wanting to give back. We went to the supermarket, got loads of like yogurts, chocolates, biscuits, and we thought everybody would be nice and polite and just take. Next thing you know, we're getting rushed left, right, and centre, elbows, digs to the leg. You know,
I saw there was bottles of yogurts flying up in the air, dates flying up in the air. It went crazy.
Mental.
But I mean, there are people there that literally just come to Saudi Arabia, Mecca, just with their belongings. They don't have anything else.
prayer mat in the bag, that's it.
Really hard for
And
them.
they live off all these people giving out dates and yogurt and.
And where
it's
do they
mental.
sleep then? Do they
Just
sleep,
literally
the
outside
streets.
the mosque on the street.
they just sleep outside?
That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
That's a sacrifice they go through just to be able to be in that
Some of
place.
them sleep in the mosque inside as well. So they'll just stay throughout the whole day, just pray, do the tawafs and then just stay there.
Wow, I find that fascinating. In regards to your culture, you're Libyan.
Yeah.
What's your culture like? We're Pakistani. We've got a lot of listeners that are from all different backgrounds, and a lot of questions that were asked when I posted that I'm going to get you guys on was dive a little bit deeper into the Libyan culture. What is it like? What's the differences between Pakistanis and Libyans? So I just want to get a deeper understanding. What's your Libyan culture like?
I think all of our cultures are pretty much similar.
Okay.
You know, there's a massive emphasis on looking after your parents, family orientated, doing good, sticking to your religion, being a nice person, being kind, caring and courteous. With Libyans, they are slightly different. There is a bit more of a homely feel. You know, all Libyans know each other. It's like 6 million people that live in the whole country. So it's not a massive country. There's not loads of people living there. So it's slightly different in that sense. But then we still have that element of, you know, put your parents first, do good. We're very honest. We're very loyal. We're very generous as people. And that's how we've been raised. So I think we're just another Arab country with a slight twist. Obviously, the country's changed massively since, you know, our previous leader Gaddafi was he was in power, but then he's out of power. May he rest in peace. But the country has changed. People have changed slightly, but the Libya that we know is the Libya that everyone was happy, everyone was excited under Gaddafi's reign. Best leader, may he rest in peace. And it's a Libya that we always want to remember. We haven't been since then. We haven't been back to the country since then because we wanted to have that memory of Libya to be one of our main memories. We'll probably go in the next few years, but we haven't been that excited to go back since what's happened.
What's your message for listeners out there regarding sort of peace, wars, conflict, that kind of thing? Is if there's a message that you could put out, what would it be?
I think there's definitely always a solution, a peaceful solution, and we should always fight for that peaceful solution in the best interest of everyone. That's what I'd definitely say.
Are you guys married? Are you single or?
We're definitely single right
So
now.
both single?
Married to the hustle. We literally get asked about marriage like every 2 weeks,
I've seen.
especially by our mum, different relatives. We're at the age now, 27, we should be getting married, but we want to find the right person. It's a massive decision, massive commitment. We don't which one.
I think I'm ready now. Today, I decided today.
You-
Just the feeling came across
down,
me.
obviously. We want to find the right lady. We don't want to rush into it because marriage is a massive commitment. We don't want to be those people that just gets peer pressured into getting married, and then 2 years later you have that conversation, oh, it's not working out, divorce, and it's basically like, that was a waste of time. So we want to take our time now, find the right person, find our queens, and give them the best life.
You don't want to be clashing over that Netflix series.
yeah,
You want to both be on the same,
same
hymn
page.
sheet and just choose that series and
Absolutely.
kick back, relax, and start watching it.
And in terms of your culture, then, is your family and the Libyan sort of culture quite open to different cultures, or is it like our Pakistani culture is like there's sort of frowned upon interracial relationships?
Yeah.
Are your family a little bit more open, or is it a nice Libyan woman that you need to find?
That's a really good question, actually. What do you think?
Definitely, we always get this from our mum especially. You've got to marry a Libyan girl, and we understand it, similar culture, same beliefs, and we're all for it. The thing is with Hassan, he keeps trying to ask our mum if he can get married to a half Spanish, half Latina girl.
But then again, Hussein does say that it would have to be a Libyan girl, but I genuinely think he's just saying that as a politically correct answer. If he was to meet somebody who wasn't the same origin as us Libyans, but it was an amazing person, really was the perfect person to be with, and they weren't Libyan, I think our family would be open to that as well.
Yeah.
So I think he said that just off the cuff.
No, I think if I knew my mum definitely wanted us to marry a Libyan girl, I would stick to that because I'd want to make sure that obviously I want to meet the right person, but also I don't want to upset my mum.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people out there, they're like, oh yeah, I'm in love, I'll do whatever I want, forget my parents. But the fact is, like, come on, they're your parents. Like, they will probably brush it off after like a year, but the fact is, it will still be in the heart. They'll be slightly upset. And our parents do so much for us. Surely we can tick one of their boxes, which is getting married to the right person.
That's interesting. I see a little bit of disagreement there.
I just think
Hassan wants to get married to a half Libyan, half Latina. He's not going to find it, so just get married to a Libyan.
Yeah. So that's your type. Okay, so you've revealed your time. So if there are any of those mixed race individuals that are watching the podcast, then feel free to slide into the DMs. I saw a video where you were talking about they're going to have to live together in the same house, and it caused quite a bit of conflict.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts around that then? Would you want to marry two women and have live in one household, or would you want to live in separate households?
A big land with maybe one massive house or two big houses next to each other. The fact is, we're twin brothers. We've lived all of our lives together. We've got so much going on. One of the reasons to why we've been successful is because of our connection and our bond. I'm not going to go live in a different city, in a different house, and then see my brother like a couple of times a week. We'll be living together or very close together because we've got lots on. We've got to speak together frequently, and our wives will have to slot into our lives. They'll be getting everything. They'll have a life of a queen. They'll get the nicest, whatever it is that they won't be short of anything. So they have to understand that they're coming into an empire and they have to slot in. We're not just going to transform our lives because of them. Yes, we will give them their time, their dedication, and they're not going to be like living with us under our armpits every single day and us sat together. We'll have our own privacy, but they'll be coming into our arrangement. That's how it'll work.
And do you ever feel like a woman could come in between your bond, or never?
Definitely.
Never.
That's one thing we make
Never.
clear. No woman. She could be Angelina Jolie, 10 out of 10 supermodel. Never ever come between
He's
us.
thinking about that mixed race Spanish and Latino woman.
I don't know where this has come from, half Libyan, half Latina, but then when I hear it, I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's roll with it.
Okay, there has to be a backstory to that. Where does this come from? Is it just his type?
I think, yeah, it's his time. Obviously, it's lived in Spain. Loads of Latinas there. Not that we look at them, but if you're looking at a nice person,
Yeah.
that nice complexion, beauty, obviously Latina, but then obviously you need to, satisfy
And the
your mum
beauty
as
in the
well.
heart as well.
Beauty in the heart as well.
How the heart is,
So
She's
obviously
looking
we
at the
have-
heart.
all these
He's
things are very
looking at the heart.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at the heart, yeah.
Latinos definitely, yeah.
Not Latinos, that guy's Latinas with it, yes.
Yeah, that's what you relate Latinos to, beautiful big hearts, big hearts. So we'll move on from there. It's getting late now, it's 11:30. So follow-up question on that. What would you say is the right ideal partner for listeners? I'm sure they're interested in hearing your opinion. What makes an ideal partner?
Oh,
The
women-
biggest, most beautiful heart.
Okay. You emphasize the biggest there.
The right partner needs to be loyal, not just there for the good times. In business, it's up and down. There's some treacherous times. She needs to be there to stick by you and give you emotional support. but then somebody who can give you love, caring, considerate, generous, doesn't just look after themselves but looks after you as well, wants to give you the world. So that's what I think we'd look for. And somebody that isn't just there for the journey and for the ride and for the fun stuff.
Yeah. Right.
Completely agree. Yeah, I'd say someone who can reassure you as well after a tough day, you know, give you that reassurance. Don't worry, tomorrow's going to be a great day. You know, get a little bit of a back rub or something. I know today's been a tough day for you. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. Don't worry, get some rest. Let's do something else. Let's switch it up. I think that's what you need in a wife, in a relationship. That sense of comfort, reassurance, good connectivity and good vibes working.
What I need from my wife is to make sure her nails are always on fleek, French mani, not just nails, toes as well, nice eyebrows, nice skin complexion, look after yourself. I think it's so important. What I don't want is my wife to be hustling all day and coming at the end of the day like knackered, stressed out, doesn't have time to get her nails done. I feel like our role is to make sure that the money's coming in, she can get whatever she wants, go on whatever trips she wants, whatever clothes, handbags, whatever it might be, live like an absolute queen and not have to worry about that side of things. What she needs to focus on is looking after herself, because as a guy, you want to come home and your wife is looking beautiful, 10-10, you know, there to give you a nice cuddle, welcome home, let's have some nice food, let's watch a little program and give you that love.
Yeah.
But if she's stressed as well, then you're stressed and it's like two stressed people and there's no like nice, relaxing atmosphere.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So, no broken nails, ladies.
French mani, any girl watching, if you're going to go to your nail tech, just get a French mani. Like, don't do these crazy colours and like little highlights and stuff. French mani is the best coordination, the best option to go for when you get your nails done. So
Unless it's summertime. Summertime, you can go for like a baby blue or a bright colour.
If it's summertime, white, maybe white. But white's been rinsed, you know, the white toes. We've seen them all over Instagram. French mani is classy.
I haven't.
Neither yet. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. That sounds like good advice. And the last thing about marriage, I promise you, how do you deal with the pressure from your parents then? Are they wanting to see you getting married? And how do you deal with that pressure? Do you feel like there's a right age to get married? Would you have done it a little bit younger? Or because I can imagine as you get older, you then get a little bit more pressure.
I think because our parents see us so busy with what we're doing right now on the journey that we're on in business, they know that we're focused, we have each other, we're just really busy every single day working towards our dreams, and they know that when the right time comes for a wife, we'll grab the opportunity and get married. So it's not like we're just twiddling our thumbs, messing around. We're focused right now on a journey, but at the same time we know that a wife is important, and as soon as that right person comes along, we'll get
I
onto
actually
that.
met with like a couple of girls over the last year for like a serious meeting to discuss like marriage.
Yeah.
But they were like just boring. So I was like, what's this whole like marriage game? Like you meet up, you want to talk about marriage and have something serious, but they're boring. What do? You know, you're not going to just force it. So I think parents need to understand as well, like it takes time. We're not going to rush into anything.
Yeah.
Let's find the right person who's fun, dynamic, a good fit for us. So that way we can have a nice marriage, a nice happy life. The last thing we want to do, like I said earlier, is make the wrong decision.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like the wrong people are attracted to you, or people now that you have the nice cars and the luxury lifestyle that you attract a different kind of attention?
One thing that we're not as idiots, we know straight away when somebody's in for it, just for a nice ride. We can tell who's genuine.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we're really good at is reading people. And we know straight up if a girl is in it for the love or in it to roll in the Bentley and go for a nice shopping trip and fly abroad.
Yeah.
So, you know, our BS radar is working 100% all the time.
So for people out there, how do you detect a gold digger?
The best way to detect a gold digger is to, well, there's no real way really. I think it's just by the
I think it's
way
gut
they act.
instinct. It's the way that you feel.
Gut instinct, yeah.
Gut instinct.
The fact is, there's so many gold diggers out there. They want to go to the nice bougie restaurants, get on the Bentley, get on the private jet, and live a lavish lifestyle. But you don't want to find a wife that's a gold digger. You want to find a girl that loves you, that's simple, that's caring, that's genuine. And the truth is, this day and age, it's hard to find out who's in it for the love or who's in it for the money. But obvious signs are if they go to a restaurant and they want to get the most expensive thing on the menu, and then when the food comes and you pay the bill, they don't even say thank you, they just expect it. But girls that say thank you, they're appreciative, they're grateful, they're genuine, they're sincere, they're the real ones, because they value that meal, they value that outing, they value that experience. And ultimately, if you have somebody that never ever appreciates what's going on, there's never a way to please them, because you give them that nice meal or that nice trip and they want more and more, and it's a never ending cycle of just giving.
Yeah.
I think You can easily tell if a girl's a gold digger as well when you give them a responsibility like booking a hotel, for example. If you give them a responsibility and they just look at the most expensive option at that location and only give you that as an option, then you know they're a gold digger. Whereas, even if you don't mind going for that most expensive option, you'd still like to see other options as well, just so for your peace of mind, you know that there's somebody who's reasonable, who actually likes you, rather than just likes your money. So it's small signs like that.
I love that. It's fine.
Even super rich people like a good deal. They like value for money. One of the main reasons as to why they're rich is because they value their currency, their pounds, euros, or dollars, whatever it is. So if they have a partner who also is mindful of the money that they spend, that goes a long way for them because they realise, wow, this lady loves me. She loves not just the fact that I'm able to give good things to her, but also she values how I spend my money, and it's like a two-way thing.
I love that. That's really powerful. In terms of your experience, have you ever had any experience with mental health, depression, anxiety? Is that something that you've ever experienced?
I'd say mental health is a massive thing, especially in today's society. We haven't really experienced severe mental health before personally, but we have experienced periods of time where we're quite sad in life. But I feel like everybody goes through that, and it's normally when you feel like you're not being the best version of you. That's what we've put it down to. When we'll feel sad in life, it's because we aren't performing to the best of our ability. We're not going to the gym, for example. We're not sticking to our routine. We're not working hard in business. They're all things that are linked to when we're sad. And so what we do is, you focus on the things that make you sad, which are specific traits that you carry. You stop doing those, and you focus on the things that make you happy. And I think that's really important in life. Knowing what things you do that make you happiest, and trying to keep them for as long as possible throughout the year. And that's how to maintain a happy life.
I think we've been conditioned as well in today's society to mistake stress for depression and mental health. We all go through stress in life. It's how you handle it. And anybody that thinks they can go through life without enduring pressure or stress, they're living in a fake world. Now, one thing that you can do to deal with stress is problem solve. If you think to yourself, oh, I'm going through stress, I'm depressed, I need to get medication, that's never going to fix it. And you're going to enter into a new world of endless medication. So face the fact that life is supposed to be difficult. If you didn't have bad times, you would never enjoy the good times. So roll with the good and the bad.
I was watching a video of yours. I don't know which one it was, Hassan Hussein, where you were talking about a crazy patient story. And this is something that a lot of our listeners want to know now as well. One of them was a patient potentially having a crush on you. I don't know which one it was.
So when we first graduated and we started seeing patients, we did a lot of cosmetic treatments like teeth straightening, aligners, teeth whitening. And then what would happen is you treat like a good looking patient and they would bring like their friends, and then you just see like loads of more good looking patients. And there was one patient that the nurse had left the room, and she literally just like, I've got a confession to make, I've got a massive crush on you. And the door just slammed, and then she basically asked me for my number. But as a dentist, you can't mix, obviously, with a patient. It's unethical. So it was a bit of a difficult situation because I didn't want to be rude to the patient, but at the same time, I didn't want to enter into this whole awkward position of like giving her my number and, you know, giving her the impression that I felt the same way when I didn't.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, it's situations like that you think, bloody hell, you know, this could be an absolute disaster, because a lot of dentists might have been like, okay, great, give me a number, I'll text you, meet up, and then before you know it, they've massively crossed ethical boundaries there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's like a fantasy kind of. I'm sure it's been played out in a few role plays. You won't dive into anymore on this podcast. So you guys are very giving people. You give a lot to charity. I've seen you give to your employees, and you build this culture of employees being happy with what you're giving to them. Where does that come from?
That comes from an abundant mindset that we have, that we feel like the more that we give, the more that comes back to us. And it's something that also is linked to knowing that if we look after our team, they'll look after us. So we love to look after our team and give them presents and give them rewards, because it's just us going out of our way to go above and beyond and go that extra mile for them. And if you do that for your team, they'll go even further for you. And that's just how management works.
I think the one video that I saw was you guys giving, was it walking into Louis Vuitton, buying those little
Getting the bracelets, yeah.
And were they for your employees?
Yeah, that was for our dental nurses.
Yeah.
And that's how the Dental Nurse Association kicked off, because we got such an amazing response from people saying, wow, we can't believe you've done this for dental nurses. We just felt like we have to do it on a bigger scale. So we launched the Dental Nurse Association, and that's when we started doing it for other nurses that weren't even employed by us across the UK. And that's just how it just spiraled upwards from there. More and more nurses started joining and it just became massive.
Mashallah. You also did one recently with kids, and I saw a video where you were driving and these kids were selling, was it Lucozade or Pop or whatever?
Yeah.
And you ended up giving them a certain amount of money, buying all their stock and then letting them keep the stock as well.
Yeah.
Talk me through
The
that
reason
stuff.
we did that was because we massively believe that the youth are the future of this country and of the world. And if we can instill entrepreneurship and business into people from a young age, ultimately countries run off people doing business with each other. You know, if people didn't go out of bed and want to earn money and operate a business, then we'd be stuffed. So the fact that kids were on the street, they could have been at home playing PlayStation, they were stood on a street corner selling Lucozade and Pop. It was like, wow, what a breath of fresh air. And we wanted to reward that, because if we can reward that and give them that positive message from a stranger that you're doing good, keep on going, it motivates them to keep doing that every single day. So it was just like a little off-the-cuff act of kindness. And I'm sure those kids, that group of kids, will do massive things in their life because they've got that habit in their mind that they want to do business and succeed. I think that video got like 6 million views or even more.
It's
So
blowing up.
their corner shop must have been going through the roof now
I can
with
imagine
sales.
that spot must be worth a fair bit. And it was really inspiring. When I was watching it and I was looking at it, it really motivated me. And it shows that they're going to go on to
Achieve big
succeed
things,
and achieve big things. And they'll always remember and have that fundamental memory of you guys coming and doing that. You'll never ever forget that. So in terms of you two as twins, you'll know our uncles, KO Sports, they've got the boxing shop. They're twins, and I've always been inspired by how they work, how they've worked together and build a business and the relationship they have. So with you guys, how do you work together in business? Is there anything that you disagree on?
Yeah, I agree completely with what you're saying. I think the guys at KO Sports, Cap and Chab, are doing an amazing job, and they've done such fantastic work in their sector, in their industry. So hats off to them. And with regards to us and our relationship in business, we don't really have many disagreements because we both sing from the same hymn sheet. We know what the end goal is. We both think in a very similar way. And so we might bounce ideas off each other. Well, we always do bounce ideas off each other, but we never really have disagreements. We'll just think of a way forward together and just roll with that. That's how it's always worked with us, and that's how it always will work. And I think it's very important that when you do work with somebody, you have that synergism with them, and you can work well and not clash.
What I've always found interesting as twins, you've got the Bentley outside, you've got the G-Wagon and the Porsche. As twins, do you just go out and buy your own car, or is it like, oh, we're buying this Porsche, it's half and half, or how does that work?
It's like we've got one pocket, right? So if we like something, we'll decide and we'll buy it, and it's just ours. Like there's no pay half, you pay half. We've all got one pocket.
So you've got a joint bank account as twins?
Joint everything really.
No
you know,
way.
he sometimes nicks my clothes, or one of my watches, or tries to copy my style.
But is it his style really? That's the question.
It's our style.
It's our style. Yeah, okay. So you've got a joint bank account, you don't have separate bank accounts, you kind of keep it all together.
We have separate bank accounts, but the main bank account is like a joint one.
Yeah.
So everyone just works, everyone just chips in, and what's mine is his, what's his is mine. That's just how it works in our family.
I just want you to give any final concluding advice to our listeners, people that are starting up businesses, entrepreneurs. We get a lot of young people inspired by people like yourself, where they want to go out and achieve success like yourself. What would you recommend to them if they're starting out, failing in business, trying but not really getting anywhere? What kind of advice can you give them to motivate them?
My advice would be to the youth out there, or to the youngsters starting their own business or starting their own journeys in life. What are you doing today that's going to separate you from the rest? What are you doing to give yourself that competitive edge against the competition? And if you aren't doing anything, change that ASAP, because if you aren't going to be doing anything that's different, you'll just be like everyone else. And to get different results, you have to do different things. So map out where you want to head, map out what skills you need to get there, and start today. What I would say is, if you want to be successful, what are you doing to get yourself to where you want to be? How's your routine? How are your foundations? Are you somebody who is trying out different things every single day, feeling great one day, feeling awful another day? Or are you somebody who is consistent and knows what things they need to do to stay high and stay up and stay feeling great, which is how you need to be to really achieve big things in life? That's what I'd say.
Thank you very much. In terms of your brother as well, I've met up with your younger brother Mo, lovely guy. I'm going to try and get him on the podcast one day, inshallah. And do something completely different. But he's growing up different in the sense that you guys lived in the council estate, had that hardship, and then you achieved success. With him, he's growing up different and he's seen the success and you've got him involved in the business. How do you keep him on track and keep, you know, younger siblings motivated and on the right tracks?
I think it comes down to what they see around them. With Mohammed, he knows what we've been through as a family to get to where we are now. He knows that it hasn't come to us easily. And because he sees that and because he's seen it before in the past, he knows that he has to work hard and he can achieve even more than what we've achieved already. And so he has that vision in front of him, and he has us that really guide him closely and keep him on track to support him, because we want for our brothers more than we want for ourselves. That's how we are as a family.
Yeah.
And he's so ambitious, so hardworking, he's so disciplined, he has such a smart, creative brain on him, and he's doing amazing things for somebody not even his age, somebody who's way older. And yeah, just really excited to see what Mohammed's going to be doing in the future, because he's already doing amazing and he hasn't even started with what I know he can achieve.
He's very, very switched on, mashallah. We sat down talking to him. He knows what he's doing, so I'm sure he will achieve huge success.
My advice to youngsters would be, if you want to be successful, believe first of all that you can do it. Tell yourself that you are a winner, because if you can convince yourself that you are a winner with a winning attitude and a winning chance in life, that's the hardest part there. That will give you the motivation and momentum to really push forward and start making the positive change in your life that's going to make you a success one day.
It's now 12 o'clock, nearly midnight, so we're all getting a bit sleepy here. We've just had our coffee, so I'm just going to answer a couple of their questions. Yeah, these guys are like, we should invoice this guy.
No. We're loving him.
No, listen, I've tried to keep them as long as I can, and you know, that's what we do for you listeners, so make sure you subscribe. We always try and make the most out of every single person that we have, and there's so much to learn from you guys. I've already learned so much from you, so I posted an Instagram story where I asked listeners to ask questions. We told them we're going to get you on, so there's a couple of questions that I want to fire at you that our listeners have shown. So we're trying to make these podcasts a little bit more engaging. So a couple of questions, just completely random. I don't even know what these are. They've just been coming through whilst we've been here. One of the questions is, do you ever get fake friends and people that act different around you now you're successful versus how you were when you were on your come up?
I think our circle is so small now. We don't even have many people around us. We've got our staff, a few advisors, we've got our brothers, our family, and that's pretty much it. We don't mix with many people because we don't want to be let down. And we know for a fact a lot of people want to get in with us because they want to just roll with us and stuff, but we're not really stupid, so we just prefer to keep our circle close, do our own thing, have our own people that we trust in, and just carry on through life.
A lot of our listeners are interested in the private jet lifestyle. They've seen the private jets on your Instagram. What is that like? How does it work? Do you have to charter your jets?
So when you fly private, you have an operator who organises the flight for you. Ours is called Zach. He works at Victor Jets. So a big shout out to him. He's super efficient. You just message him, drop him a WhatsApp. I'm looking to fly from Leeds to Valencia these dates. Give me some options. He'll then send you options for which jet, along with the costings. He books everything for you, so they do the check-in on your behalf, they plan your trip, what food you want to eat, your transport, everything. All you got to do is rock up to the private jet terminal, which is like a small little hangar, 20 minutes before the flight takes off, and then before you know it, you're on the flight and you're landing in your destination country within a few hours. And the great thing is that you don't have to wait through security, you know, you don't have to get there 3 hours before. It's so smooth. And when an operator sorts it all out for you, it's just a smooth sailing process. So steps are, speak to an operator, they get you booked on, and then that's how smooth the journey is.
The last question from our listeners is, have you guys ever posed as each other and gotten away with it, or are there any sort of stories along those lines where you've posed as one another, and can you get away with it? I can see a slight distinction between you both, but...
Obviously I'm better looking, we established that earlier, so there's a slight difference. But in terms of like us swapping, when we were at school back in the day, we actually swapped for an exam and the teacher didn't realise. So we have done it before. There's a few more stories, but not for this podcast.
Okay, we'll keep that as an exclusive for the next one. And one person, well, two people have put and asked the question, is shisha bad for your teeth? Yes or no?
It is, yeah.
It is
really bad, yeah.
Is shisha bad for your teeth?
Definitely very bad. Stinky breath as well, so just avoid shisha.
Right, okay, so cigars?
And vapes. Shishas, cigars, vapes, anything to do with smoking or tobacco or nicotine, really bad for your teeth, just stay away from it.
Right, okay. We'll remember that. Listen to that, listeners. And in terms of the future for you guys, what's the plans? What can we look out for? You're going to open up loads of stores?
More branches. Smilework.co.uk is going to the moon. We're offering affordable treatment to patients up and down the country, all done through a dentist. So we've got lots planned. We're going to keep rocking and rolling with the guidance of God, with the blessings from God and our parents. We're unstoppable. So keep on the lookout for us. Stay tuned. Thanks to everyone listening in. So what to expect from us? We're going to be scaling up our group of dental clinics, Yorkshire Dental Suite, but then we're also massively driving forward smilewhite.co.uk, which is where we provide patients with aligners, which is teeth straightening, done by dentists at their local dental clinic at a fraction of the price of a normal dentist, and it's the same level of treatment, if not higher. So really excited about that, and keep it running forward. We're just so excited, so blessed, so happy to be on this journey. We've really enjoyed speaking to you as well. This setup has been amazing.
Thank you very
The
much.
whole interview, the whole podcast has just been absolutely amazing. So hats off to you guys as well. You're absolutely smashing it. And excited to be on the next one.
I appreciate your feedback. What's your experience been like with the CEO club?
Fantastic, really professional. You guys are great. Love the setup. You've been a great interviewer as well. The suit's looking absolutely fantastic. It looks $1 million. Keep on the hustle, keep on the grind, and you're going to make it to the top as well, man.
Inshallah,
So,
we'll get to your level one day, inshallah.
Definitely, man, without a doubt, of course.
And if anybody out there wants to follow us on Instagram, we're the Twin Dentists, on TikTok, Twin Dentists, and on YouTube, Twin Dentists as well. Links will be in the bio. So reach out to us, and we look forward to catching up again soon.
Guys, thank you very much for listening. These guys have been amazing. I've loved listening to your story. I've learned so much. It's been really inspiring. That time's flown by. It's nearly midnight, and I just want to conclude on one point. It's nearly midnight. We've been working over 12 hours, all of us, but we're still here at nearly 12 o'clock, grinding it out, doing this podcast, which is going to benefit all of us. But it just goes to show you need to put in the hard work. The work never stops. And, from the outset, you might see the Bentleys and people driving around, but what you don't see is the behind the scenes. At this time, these guys are grinding it out. They could have quite easily had an early night, put a little bit of Netflix on this beautiful big TV, relaxed, but they're not. They're hustlers, and that's the key theme that we're getting out of this podcast, which I love and hugely inspired by. So thank you very much for being on the CEO Club. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be doing a lot more work like this.
Make sure you guys subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.